Hey guys, Sam here from KeyCommerce.com. In this mega video, you're going to learn everything you need to set up, optimize, and scale your Google Shopping campaigns to over 100K per month. These are the exact strategies that my team and I use for our clients. I'm going to walk you through them step by step. We're going to walk through how Google Shopping works, the full setup in Google Ads and Google Merchant Center, how to optimize your campaigns, and then what to do if your ads aren't performing. There are dozens of resources and templates that come along with this course. I'll leave them down linked below. And if you're struggling with your Google Ads, your Google Merchant Center, your Google Shopping campaigns, you want help optimizing them to make more profits for your e-commerce store, check out our KeyCom Academy. It's an eCom community and course for honest eCom store owners. We have step-by-step courses and live calls every single week where we show you how to scale your eCom store with paid ads. I'll leave a link down below. Go and check it out, and let's get into it.
In this video, you're going to learn how Google Shopping ads work. You'll also learn what you need to do to set them up. Learning how Google Shopping works, how the algorithm works, and how to set them up is critical to generating more sales and more profits from your campaigns. Let's get into it. First, what is Google Shopping? Here you have the Google search results. At the bottom, you have regular Google search ads, the text ads. But at the top here, you have Google Shopping ads. Shopping ads show the name of the product, the price, a product image, and even reviews too. When a shopper clicks the ad, they go directly to the store's product page to purchase. At this point, they can purchase the product. Google designs this in a really smart way. When a customer clicks one of your shopping ads, they already have a pretty good idea of what your product is. This gives them a higher chance of buying. This is why the conversion rates that we see for Google Shopping campaigns are generally higher than other campaigns we run for e-commerce stores. Google determines which stores get to show their ads and in which position by running the Google auction. Higher positions get more traffic, and so as an advertiser, that's where you want to be. But of course, those positions are more expensive. Each auction goes like this. A shopper makes a search. If Google believes that your products are relevant to that search, it enters your products in that auction. The highest amount that you've told Google that you're willing to pay per click is your bid. That bid is then adjusted based on your product's relevance to the search and how shoppers have previously acted when interacting with this product and, to a lesser extent, your store in the past. You're then given a position and your ad is shown. Now, that's a very simple description of what happens in a Google auction, and I've skipped some of the more advanced details. But the key here is to understand this important concept. The relevancy and history of previous shopper interactions has a significant impact on the position and results. Many seasoned marketers know this, but fail to focus on it as a core part of their strategy. You're going to learn how to take advantage of this and get the most out of your ad spend. Google rewards advertisers who it thinks will give their shoppers the best buying experience. This is because Google wants its users to keep clicking ads. The system is engineered for this, and we want our setup to make the most of this too. Now let's talk about the Google Shopping algorithm for learning about your shopping audience. This is one of the most powerful parts of Google Ads overall. Google tracks millions of data points across its billions of users. And all that data means they can analyze and predict who your best customers might be. Oftentimes before that user has even started searching for your products. For example, if your store does well with women aged 35 to 55 who prefer to eat organic food and have a high household income, Google will begin to show your ads to people who match that audience. This is a win for Google, who makes more money from that ad click, a win for the shopper who sees an ad most relevant to them, and a win for you, the advertiser, who's going to get more relevant traffic that's more likely to buy. There are several ways that we can set up our account and our campaigns to help Google narrow down our shopping audience that we'll cover in our videos. Okay, so let's talk about setting up Google Shopping ads. We're going to simplify it into the 4 necessary pieces that you need. Number 1, you need to have an e-commerce website. You should have this already. Stores often set up with e-commerce platforms like Shopify or WooCommerce. Shopify is by far the best of these platforms. I highly recommend it. If you don't have a Shopify account, I'll leave a link down below to go and set one up. Number 2, we need to have a product feed. We're going to set this up together, but a product feed has all the product data about all your products for your e-commerce store. Number 3 is Google Merchant Center, which is now called Google Merchant Center Next. It's the platform you use to upload and verify your product feed. Here, you'll deal with all product disapprovals and any other issues that Google has with your product feed. And number 4 is our Google Ads account. Many store owners do get confused that they need 2 Google accounts, one for Google Ads and one to connect our products to. Think of Google Merchant Center Next as a gatekeeper that makes sure that your product data is all fit and at a high standard for Google Ads. Google Ads is then used to create the Google Shopping campaigns after it's made its way through the gatekeeper Google Merchant Center. We're going to link these 2 platforms together to make sure the product data goes from Google Merchant Center Next over to Google Ads. Once that's done, we can create our Google Shopping campaigns and people will be able to see the product data in the Google Shopping ad, product title, description, images, pricing, and anything else we want to add. Okay, that's how Google Shopping ads work and the setup you need to get them going. Also, if you'd like my team and I to set up and optimize your Google Ads campaigns for you, we do this day in, day out for dozens of e-commerce stores. If you're already generating 20K per month in sales per month, book a time with my team and I down below, and we'd love to talk to you about how we would scale your e-commerce store with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. Google has a fatal flaw. It's terrible at helping you understand which campaign you should use, Google Shopping or Performance Max. It seems that Google is just ramming Performance Max down your throat. But which is best for you? Answering this question could save you a lot of time and a lot of money. In this video, you're going to learn what are the key differences between Google Shopping and Performance Max, and which should you choose to run campaigns for your e-commerce store. But first, what do they look like and where are they shown? Google Shopping ads are shown here in the results after someone searches on Google. Here on the actual search page or here on the Google Shopping tab. Each shopping ad looks like this. It has your product's information such as title, image, price, and other information like reviews. Clicking the ad takes you to the product page for the store. To run shopping ads for your e-commerce store, you just need to set up a product feed. That's it. Performance Max campaigns, on the other hand, are shown everywhere. Not only do they show like Google Shopping campaigns, but they also show text ads on search, on YouTube as videos and images, Gmail, Maps, and across millions of websites with display. Setting up Performance Max means not only setting up your product feed, but also adding text and images. You can think of Performance Max as an all-in-one campaign, shown in thousands of different format variations. They combine text, videos, and images in limitless combinations. Now, this can be great for your e-commerce store, but it can also be terrible. Let's go over the benefits and the drawbacks of each campaign type right now. Google Shopping campaigns are great because you get much more concentrated clicks from people that have a clear shopping intent. They're searching on Google for your type of products already. You get much better and more detailed reporting that you can study and use to optimize your campaign. You get greater control over how your budget is spent for products and product groups. Now, Performance Max campaigns can be great because they're a more hands-off approach where the machine learning takes over much of the optimization. This makes them somewhat easier for less experienced advertisers. It has an effective remarketing setup. It has far greater reach because you're not just advertising on Google search, but all of Google's properties. This means that it can be great for targeting buyers at all parts of the buying funnel. The drawbacks of Google Shopping campaigns are that it requires a more hands-on approach. This means that you do need to develop beyond a beginner's understanding to really optimize your campaigns. Remarketing isn't built into the Google Shopping campaigns like it is with Performance Max. So you'll need to create a separate campaign if you want to remarket to your users. The drawbacks of Performance Max campaigns are you have very little control or input into how it optimizes. You need to really trust Google's algorithms, and many store owners will tell you that this doesn't always work out well. It's also quite limited in the data that it shares with you. That gives you much less to work with to improve your results. Finally, it needs enough data to optimize. If you're a small store with a humble budget, that puts you at a big disadvantage. Next, I'm going to cover the 4 big differences between each campaign type. 1, how they target customers. 2, how they're optimized and automated. 3, how they remarket to customers. And 4, how they provide reporting and metrics. Number 1, let's look at how they target customers. With shopping, you have much more control in who you are targeting. Your ads are only shown to people who are searching on Google. Even though you can't choose the exact keywords, you already know that they're likely shoppers because their search is related to your product's ad. This means that your ads are more targeted towards buyers that are at the bottom of the funnel. If you don't know what the buying funnel is, I'm going to describe it really quickly right now. It's an important concept for e-commerce, particularly in understanding the difference between Performance Max campaigns and Google Shopping campaigns. The online buying funnel represents the stages that a buyer goes through when making a purchase with your business. The top of the funnel is what marketers refer to when someone becomes aware of your brand or your products for the first time. The middle of the funnel is when buyers who are interested in the product or service are in the consideration phase. And the bottom of the funnel is for shoppers who are now intending to make a purchase. The buyers in each stage of this funnel behave differently. At the bottom of the funnel, they're searching for exactly what they want. And this is why Google Shopping ads are perfect for e-commerce stores that are just starting out, because you're showing ads to people who are already ready to buy. On the other hand, Performance Max campaigns target people throughout the whole buying funnel. This is better for bigger stores and companies that have the budget and the time to spend targeting these buyers. Now let's look at how automated and optimized each of these campaigns can be. For shopping, you can structure your campaigns to target specific products and adjust the bids accordingly. This structuring makes it possible to optimize product groupings based on performance and search term reports. We have a video that covers the structure of Google Shopping campaigns. I'll leave a link to that video down below. In Performance Max, it's highly automated. From the bidding to the optimization, you get very little data from Google. It instead works to meet the goals using machine learning that you have no input on. Next, let's look at how remarketing works for each campaign type. With shopping, you can set up campaigns that specifically target people that have been to your website before. But here is where Performance Max really shines for its advertisers. It's a phenomenal remarketing system that shows ads to wherever the buyer goes across the web online. If you've recently seen ads for any e-commerce store that you visited, it's likely from a Performance Max campaign. Finally, let's look at how each of these campaigns handles reporting. Now, this is where you hear the biggest grievances from Google Ads experts. Shopping campaigns give you much more data on the product performance to help you optimize your campaigns. However, Performance Max provides very little beyond reports they call insights, which tell you search trends. It's very difficult to take any action based on the reporting that you get from Performance Max campaigns. Okay, so how do you know whether or not to use Google Shopping or Performance Max campaigns for your e-commerce store? My team and I, we work with dozens of e-commerce stores, and here are the clear patterns that we see when choosing which campaign type to use. Overall, if you're not generating any conversions yet in your Google Ads account, we recommend starting with Google Shopping campaigns. Then build up your shopping campaigns to at least 30 to 50 conversions per month, ideally over 100 though, and then try switching to a Performance Max campaign. We only want to do this once we've built up the data in our account. Performance Max tends to perform better when we have at least 100 conversions per month and a product catalog of over 500 items. This is because Performance Max really needs a lot of data to understand who your customers are and who to show your ads to. While Performance Max can seem hands-off, it comes at the huge cost of control and reporting. For most clients, we'll test out both Google Shopping and Performance Max campaigns. Depending on how our client accounts are performing, it's going to depend on the products they're selling, the store, the history, and what we've tried in the past. Now, if you're already generating 20K per month in sales and you need help with growing your e-commerce store with Google Ads, Facebook ads, or conversion rate optimization, book a time with my team and I, and we'll talk through how we would scale your store with our strategies. In this video, you're going to learn the 8 key metrics used to optimize and scale your Google Shopping campaign. We need to understand these metrics in order to optimize our Google Shopping campaigns and make more profits. Here are the metrics that we're going to cover in this video. I've also added a link below to our metric handbook. It goes deeper into each metric, which gives you a deeper understanding so you can better optimize your Google Shopping campaign. I'll leave a link to the handbook down below. Let's get into it. Impressions. An impression happens when your ad is served onto a page, such as as the Google search results. Basically, someone seeing your ad is an impression. If it is served to 10 different people, it's counted as 10 impressions. If it is served 10 times to the same person, it's also 10 impressions. Unfortunately, an impression can still be counted if your ad is served onto a page even if a person doesn't actually see it by scrolling down, such as when the ad is below the fold. This is good to know in case you're seeing a lot of impressions but very few clicks. You may just be in a very poor position on the page and fewer people are scrolling down to see your ad. Clicks. A click is counted when someone clicks on your ad. Note that they just need to click the ad. They don't actually need to load the web page. They could immediately hit the back button or close the browser down. Google says that it does detect suspicious traffic like this, where it could be a competitor trying to cost you money. If this happens, they refund your account when it happens. If you're worried about invalid clicks, see below for more information on this topic. Next, we have click-through rate. Your click-through rate measures the percentage of ad impressions that became clicks. For example, if you had 50 impressions and 5 clicks, your click-through rate is 10%. Sometimes you'll see a click-through rate, or CTR, above 100%. What's happening here? Well, that means that the shopper has clicked on your ad twice to get to your store, but your ad was only served once. This is possible because a served ad can be cached by the browser. In this scenario, it doesn't get served again. It happens, but don't worry about it too much. Google hasn't messed up the math on you, and yes, you still get charged for both clicks. Next, we have cost, which I also refer to as ad spend in my videos, is the running total of what Google charges you for your clicks. Note that your cost can actually decrease if Google finds that there are invalid clicks. Next, we have conversions. Conversions are an action or an event that gets recorded. In our videos, we're only going to focus on one type of conversion for e-commerce, which is a purchase. We'll go into more detail on this later. Just know that the words orders and transactions and purchases are used interchangeably in my videos. Conversions are recorded from the date of the click. For example, a shopper clicks your ad on a Monday, but then buys on a Tuesday. This conversion will show up in Tuesday's data. You do have the option to see conversions based on the time that they were actually made. You do this by setting up the conversions by conversion time column if you prefer. Next, we have conversion rate. The conversion rate is the proportion of your clicks that turned into conversions. For example, if 100 people clicked your ad and 2 of them purchased, your conversion rate would be 2%. The store owners that we work with spend a lot of time obsessing about this metric. My team and I even have a dedicated service where we actually optimize this using split testing and other conversion rate tactics. Why? Because it has a huge impact on the profits you generate from your ads. Conversion rate is an indicator of the quality of your store's traffic and how well your store converts that traffic into customers. Next, we have conversion value. This is basically your sales revenue. Whenever I'm talking about sales or revenue, I'm talking about conversion value. Lastly, we have ROAS, or return on ad spend. It is also shown in your Google Ads account as conversion value divided by cost. ROAS is your total revenue divided by your total ad spend. This metric tells you a very important bit of information. It answers the question, for every $1 I put into my ads, how much do I get back in sales? ROAS and revenue, or conversion value, are the 2 most important metrics that you should be focusing on. This is because they tell you how much volume of profit you're actually making. Okay guys, they're the metrics that we use to optimize our Google Shopping campaigns. Also, if you're already doing over 20K per month in sales and you want to get to 7 figures and beyond, my team and I can help. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale dozens of e-commerce stores every single month. We'd love to meet with you and talk through how we would do this for your store. So I'll leave a link down below to our calendar. You can book time and we'll show you how we'll do this for you. In this video, you're going to learn how to make your Google Shopping campaigns profitable. If your campaigns aren't profitable, you're losing money every single day. Here's how we make these campaigns profitable. First, we understand what profitability means and how to calculate it. Then we learn what ROAS is and how do we see this in our Google Ads account. Then we'll learn the optimizations that you can make to make your Google Shopping campaigns profitable. Let's get into it. Okay, so what are profits? Profits simply is the amount of money that you get after getting all the money from your sales, paying for your suppliers, and then paying for your other expenses. For example, you sell $1,000 worth of products for your e-commerce store. It costs you $500 to buy these products from your suppliers. Then you have to pay your other expenses, which totals about $200 for this month. These are things like payment processing fees, Shopify plugins, and anything else. This leaves you with $300 in your bank account at the end of the month. This $300 is our net profit. You then divide this amount, $300, by your total sales, $1,000, to get your net profit margin, which is 30%. Now that you know what profits are, let's learn what ROAS is. ROAS is your return on ad spend, ROAS. To calculate your ROAS, just get your total sales revenue and divide it by the amount of money that you spent on your ads. For example, if you got $1,000 in sales from Google Ads and you spent $250 to acquire those clicks to get those sales, your ROAS would be 4. You can also say 400%, but I think it's a lot easier to just say 4. Now that we know what our actual ROAS is, we also want to calculate our break-even ROAS. The break-even ROAS is the minimum ROAS we need from our campaigns to break even, meaning to make profits. We use this to look at our account and to know if things are actually profitable. We can also use this to adjust our goals for our campaigns, to point them in the right direction and optimize them. For example, if we know that our break-even ROAS is 3 and our campaign got a ROAS of 4, we know it's profitable. But if your break-even ROAS is 3, but your actual ROAS is 2, you know that it's not profitable and you lost money. You're essentially losing money with these campaigns and you need to fix them. As you can see, knowing your break-even ROAS tells us what decisions we need to make in our account to get it profitable. It keeps you data-driven, always pointing towards profits as your ultimate goal. Okay, so how do you calculate your break-even ROAS and your profit margin? I'll teach you that right now. We're going to use our profit calculating templates. I'm leaving a link to this template below this video. Go and download it for yourself so we can calculate the profits and break-even ROAS for your store. Pause the video now and go get it. Once you have the sheet open, let's get into it. Okay, if you have a new store that's just getting started, then you may have to make some educated guesses here. Ideally, you'll have at least 6 months of data to use in determining the average percentage of profit you make per sale. If you don't have any sales yet, that's okay. Just put in the amounts that make sense in a hypothetical situation. For example, if you sell $10,000 worth of products, how much would you pay your suppliers for that amount of products? And how much in expenses would you pay? First, add in your sales in this first section here. Let's say $100,000 over the last 12 months. The next box is for what's called cost of goods sold. This is how much your products cost from your supplier. Say you have 2 products here. For the inventory of product 1, you spent $20,000. For the inventory of product 2, you spent $30,000. Now, this is important. The amounts you put in here directly relate to the sales above. The $100,000 above should be the $100,000 in sales for the cost of the product you bought here. This will then show us the total cost of goods sold, in our case, $50,000. The next section calculates your gross profit. This is just your total sales minus the total cost of goods sold. Then we have your gross profit margin of 50% too. Next, we'll enter your expenses. First, we have your fixed expenses. These are expenses you need to pay for your store, even if you sell 0 products. These are things like Shopify app subscriptions or anything like that. I've made it so that you can put the cost per month, the number of months, and it calculates the total cost. Make sure the number of months is the length of the period for which you sold your products in the first box. For example, if it took you 3 months to sell that amount of products, then put 3 months. Next, we have our variable expenses. These are expenses that increase as we sell more products. A good example are any payment processing fees. We have to pay a fee on these for each credit card transaction, so these go up with each sale. Another is shipping, so they're in there too. This then gives our total expenses at the bottom. This then allows you to calculate your net profit margin, and finally, your break-even ROAS. This is all done for you with the formulas in our sheet. We now know that we need each $1 of advertising spend to make us at least $2.26 in sales for us to break even. Anything above, we make profits. Anything below, we lose money and we make a loss. This lets us know if our ads are profitable or not. With this break-even ROAS of $2.26, we know that the metric of ROAS, or conversion value over cost, inside our Google Ads account must be at least 2.26 in order for us to be profitable. This is an easy metric we can check anytime we want. Just open up the Google Ads account and show the column called conversion value over cost. You'll find this metric viewable all through your Google Ads account. So you can see if certain campaigns, ads, or even search queries are profitable for your store. Okay, now that we know what's profitable and what's not, what do we do about it? Now, I'm going to briefly go over what we actually do to optimize Google Shopping campaigns. There are 3 main things that we can do to optimize our Google Shopping campaigns to generate more profits. 1, optimize our bidding strategy. This is the bidding strategy for our Google Shopping campaigns. It tells Google the goal and the direction for the campaign. There are several bidding strategies that you can choose from. If you're using a manual bidding strategy, you'll need to adjust the product's bid based on the profitability of each product. We have a video on how to do this step by step. I'll leave a link to that video down below. If you're using the target ROAS bidding strategy, you'll need to set a target or a goal ROAS based on your break-even ROAS and your goals. Next, we want to be adding negative keywords. Negative keywords are keywords that you add into your Google Shopping campaign to tell Google what not to show your ads for. For example, we may start our Google Shopping campaigns and we see that the algorithm has got a bit stuck and it's showing our products to people that aren't a good fit. For example, we're selling power drills and it's showing for people searching for power drill toys. Obviously, we don't want to sell our power drills to people looking for gifts for children. So we add toy as a negative keyword to our Google Shopping campaign. The next big optimization we need to be doing is optimizing our product feed. This is by far the best thing you can do to improve and to scale a Google Shopping campaign. This involves adjusting the product attributes in our product feed based on what people are searching and what people are buying. You're basically feeding Google's algorithm with better data about your products so they can show them in front of the right people. Very few people do this properly for their e-commerce store and has the biggest impact on getting the sales and profits that you want. Now, we also have a full tutorial on how to optimize your product data and your product feed. I'll leave a link down below. That's it, guys. I've left a lot of resources below this video. Go and check those out. And if you're already generating over 20K in monthly sales for your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures and above, book a time with my team and I. Every single month, we're scaling up dozens of e-commerce stores with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. You can meet with my team and I, and we'll talk through how we would do this for your own store.
In this video, you're going to learn how to create a Google Ads account for your e-commerce store. First, search for Google Ads on Google. The top result will bring you to the starting page. Note that you're greeted here with an offer. This will differ by country. For the USA, they also show additional offers if you scroll down. These offers say that if you spend a certain amount within your first 60 days of creating this account, you'll get credit for further advertising. Go ahead and read each one and select the one you want. Then click Start Now or Claim Now to begin. If you haven't already signed in with your Gmail or Gmail associated account, you'll be prompted to do it here. After loading up, you're greeted with a list of the steps Google will try to force you to do during the setup. We're only concerned with creating the account and not a Performance Max campaign, which may not be right for our store. Let's click Create Your First Campaign just to clear this box. Now we enter our store's name. This is your store's trade name, otherwise known as your doing business as name. You don't need to enter your business legal name here. And next, add our store's web address here and click Next. In this next step, Google sees that I have a Merchant Center account already associated with the email that I signed in with. Don't worry if you don't see this. We cover how to create a Merchant Center account and link it within the next few videos of this course. Let's click Skip. Now we're in the stage of the process where Google wants us to immediately create a campaign type. I don't recommend doing this because it doesn't offer a choice for your campaign type. It's trying to get us to set up a Performance Max campaign, which is not what we want. So let's hit Skip. Now it's offering us a search or video campaign, which again, we don't want. Skip. And we'll confirm by clicking Leave Campaign Creation. On this page, we're going to confirm our billing country, time zone, and the currency we will pay Google in. These settings cannot be changed once you're done here, so be sure. Let's click Continue. And finally, Google now requires that a verified payment method be added to your account for its setup. This is a relatively new requirement and it's not one they'll allow you to skip. So I'll just add a credit card here. In the US, it will charge your card $50, which it will refund within a week. Okay, at the bottom here, Google is asking us if we want personalized guidance from one of their experts. Now, I have several videos worth of advice and my opinions regarding these experts, but I'll keep this to a short recommendation of selecting No and then Submit. Okay, our account is created. Once again, Google is trying to push the next steps on us here. If we want to click Next, it will provide instructions for installing a Google tag on your site. This can be helpful, but we're not going to do that right now. So let's just click this X and click I'll do this later. And one final page to go. Let's agree to turn on enhanced conversions. This basically gives Google legal permission to collect data on how shoppers behave on your website. This is necessary if you want to get the best out of Google's optimization, which is critical for scaling. Agree and continue to your account. And once again, confirm that we'll set up your Google tag later.
And finally, we arrive at our account. That's how we create a Google Ads account for our e-commerce store. The next step is to set up conversion tracking so you can actually see what sales are being generated in your Google Ads account. Also, if you're already generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store, my team and I, we scale dozens of stores every single month. We do Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. I'll leave a link down below. Book a time with my team and I. We'd love to talk with you about how we'll scale your store. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
We'll get back to the video in just a second. Before we do, I wanted to let you know about something that could be really helpful for you. We've built a community of honest e-com store owners called the KeyCom Academy. It's where my team and I help store owners like you get your ads running the right way and start seeing real growth in sales and profits. We're in there every week, answering questions, jumping on live coaching calls, and giving you step-by-step courses on Google Ads, Meta Ads, and everything else e-commerce. It's also a space where other e-commerce store owners are helping each other out, sharing wins, asking questions, and growing together. In fact, the majority of members that join our community see a noticeable increase in their sales and their profits. And that's just within the first 30 days. I'll leave a link down below. Go and check it out, and I'd love to see you on the inside.
In this video, you're going to learn how to set up conversion tracking for Google Ads for your Shopify store. This allows us to track the actual sales amounts from Google Ads in your Google Ads dashboard. This is my team and I's favorite method for tracking conversions and is really accurate because it actually pulls in the real amounts for the orders into your Google Ads account. Let's get into it. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is going to 3 different pages in this process. We're going to be going to our Google Ads account, we're going to be going to our Shopify store, and about the reason you want this more robust tracking in a moment. First things first, we're going to go here to our Google Ads account, go to Goals, and we're going to click Create a New Conversion Action. Now, we want to put this on our website, so we're going to click the website box here. Google Ads already has our store domain here because we verified and connected our store in an earlier video. So we'll just click Scan. And now we're going to create a conversion goal here, but we're going to scroll down to choose to do it manually using a code. Now, if you're not very technical, please don't get too apprehensive about this. It's easy, and I will show you exactly how to do a professional setup in just a few steps. This manual method is a much better and a much more thorough system for tracking your sales. So let's click here, add a conversion action manually, and this side form will come up. We're going to select the purchase category here, as that's what we want to track. You don't need to open this section up, but I'm going to, just to give you a bit more of an understanding of conversion actions. It's currently set as a primary action, which is what we want. The only reason you would want to do it as a secondary action is if you didn't want to count this towards your full conversions on Google Ads. And you don't want Google's optimization algorithms to try to optimize towards getting more of these conversions. But we do want it to be optimized towards the purchase action, so we're going to leave it as a primary. We'll enter Google a conversion name here. I'll just type in Google Ads Purchase to clearly define what it is. And we're going to leave this as use different conversion values for each conversion. This is a very important part because we want to track the amount of each order. This is where the value of getting a more complete code snippet from our generator comes in, which we'll get in a moment. For the rest of these options, such as the count, which we'll leave as every, and these time windows, just leave them all at their default. Let's click Done, and we'll save and continue. Now, we're going to click over here to view the Google Tag Manager information. What we need from here is the conversion ID and the conversion label for this conversion action we've just set up. Let's copy this conversion ID first. Now, the link for this tool is below this video. It's keycommerce.com/conversion tracking code generator, completely free to use. This tool is perfect for getting a complete tracking for e-commerce purchases. We need to capture not only just when an order is made, but how much the order is for. So we'll paste the conversion ID first, and then go back to Google Ads to get the conversion label. Paste it here and click Get Your Conversion Tracking Code. And now it's generated the tracking code we need to install in our Shopify store. We're going to copy this. Again, this is more complete than what you would have gotten as a snippet from Google. It's actually going to track the amount that's going through, which is critical for your account. All right. Now let's go to your Shopify store and we're going to go down here to Settings. And here we're going to go down to Customer Events. Now click Add Custom Pixel and we'll call it Google Ads Purchase. Now this doesn't need to be the same name, but I recommend the name stay the same for the sake of organization. Let's delete the default code here and we're going to paste in what we got from our KeyCommerce conversion tracking code generator. Then we'll click Save here and we're going to click Connect. It's going to ask you to confirm and there you go. You are now connected and you're going to have a much more complete conversion tracking setup for your Google Ads account. That's it, guys. Google Ads will now show the Shopify store sales in your Google Ads account. Also, if you're an e-commerce store owner that's already doing 20K per month in sales across your e-commerce store and you want to get to 7 figures and beyond, book a time with my team and I. We scale e-commerce stores to 7 figures and above with Google Ads and Facebook ads, and we can do that for you too. I'll leave a link to my calendar down below, book a time, and I'd love to speak to you and learn how we can do this for your store. Hey guys, welcome to our GMC Next mini course. Everything in this mini course is up to date with the strategies relevant in 2024. We've designed this course to teach e-commerce store owners how to use GMC Next. In this course, you're going to learn how to ensure that your website is compliant with Google's policies so you avoid a Google Merchant Center suspension, how Google Merchant Center Next works with its setup and its interface, how to add your business information, your tax policies, and your shipping details, how to use it to optimize your product feed, your product data for better ad performance, and how to handle all the common issues that happen, such as product disapprovals and merchant center suspensions. My team and I here at KeyCommerce, we help e-commerce stores that are already doing at least 20K per month in sales scale to over 7 figures and beyond. But we only work with stores that are already generating 20K per month in sales or more. This course is designed to help you get there as quickly as possible. And when you do, when you need help with your ads, with scaling them up to the next level, we're here to help you. So if you're there at least 20K per month in sales, book a time with my team and I. We'll talk to you about your store, plan out your strategy, and help you get to the next level. Ready to start learning? Click the link below and let's get going with our GMC Next mini course. Google suspends over 1 million Google Merchant Center accounts every single month. Many of these accounts are owned by real store owners with real products. They're not trying to scam or deceive. They're honest people just trying to make a living with Google shopping campaigns. Their big mistake? Not following Google's strict policies and then getting a big suspension. Now, my team and I, we have a service where we actually go in and fix your suspension for you. We do this for dozens and dozens of e-commerce stores. In this video, I'm going to show you what to do to avoid getting your Google Merchant Center account suspended by making your website compliant. First, we'll cover Google's risk meter. Then, the things you need for your policy pages, your product pages, and your website footer. Now, I've also included a full checklist on making your website compliant. I'll leave a link down below. Go and check that out. Now, getting your Merchant Center account suspended is the worst. Okay, so why does Google suspend accounts? Well, first, in 2011, they were fined $500 million for letting shady advertisers use Google Ads to sell their scams. This was a wake-up call for Google that they needed to find these fraudsters and stop them before they got any more fines. But most importantly to Google, they needed to protect their reputation as the best search engine on the planet. So, to borrow a term used by its own policy specialists, Google created what's called the risk meter. Each advertiser gets a risk meter. This tells Google the risk that you pose to Google as a potential fraudulent seller. Google evaluates the risk of your business based on how it perceives your transparency to Google and to the public. In the rest of this video, I'm going to show you what to do on your website to reduce your risk meter. This will help you avoid getting suspended and all the pain that comes with that. First, let's go through your refunds and returns page. This is one of the most important parts of your website for reducing your risk meter. This is the part of your website that tells people what to do if they want to get a return. This is the page that stipulates what happens when someone wants to return a product or get a refund. Now, I recommend using our refunds and returns policy template. I'll leave a link to that down below this video. Here are 5 things that you must have on your returns policy page. 1. What is the policy for returns? 2. How is someone eligible for a return or a refund? 3. How do they initiate a return? 4. What's the timeline for a return or getting a refund? And 5. How will the refund be given? 1. What is your policy for returns? Meaning, do you accept returns or not? A lot of people don't know this, but you don't have to accept returns. That is a returns policy, but you do have to state that here. Your policy must be applied across your entire catalog, with one exception being special clearance sales, but this must be clearly stated in the promotion. You should also include if shipping costs are refunded to and if you charge a restocking fee. Second, how is someone eligible for a return or a refund? In what situations do you accept returns? You can say that you only accept returns under special circumstances, such as if a mistake was made on your end, if the product is defective, if they initiate a return within a limited time. Make it clear so your customers know if they're eligible or if they're not. Third, how do they initiate a return? Make it clear how someone will contact you to initiate a return and give them 2 forms of contact to do that. An example would be an email and a phone number. For example, please contact us at email or call us at phone number, and please include your order number and your reason for return. Fourth, the timeline for a return or for getting a refund. How long does it take for the customer to receive an exchanged item or to get their refund? Some examples that you could have here are when they contact you to first initiate the return, when they send you the tracking number of the return shipment, when the product is received by you and inspected. And fifth, how the refund will be given. How does the customer receive the refund money back? You might send it back to their credit card, PayPal, or a store credit. With all these policies, it's really up to you. Just make it clear. Your contact page is just as important for reducing your risk meter and avoiding suspensions. Google looks at it simply. Legitimate businesses are easy to contact. In this section, you're going to learn the 6 things you need on your contact page to show Google that you're a legitimate business that's easy to contact. Now, I've created a full template for your Contact Us page. I'll leave a link to that down below. First, your business name. Google wants to know what's the business entity behind your website. If they don't know this, they're less likely to trust you. For example, if your business name is XYZ LLC, then that's what you need to have on your Contact Us page. You can also put your doing business as name on your contact page if you have a legally registered trademark for that name. Now, use the same name across all your Google accounts so Google doesn't see any discrepancy between your business names. Next, add your business address. This must be the physical location from which you operate your business. Some people try to use a PO box or a rented mailbox. Since you can't work out of a mailbox, Google sees this as an instant red flag. If Google ever suspects that you don't have a legitimate business location, they're going to flag you and likely suspend you right away. Next, add your business phone number. This is the phone number where customers can call in and be serviced. What's critical here is that when people call up, they feel they're actually reaching whoever's owning the actual website. This means they hear the business name when they call and they can leave a voicemail if no one answers. Just like with your business name and address, use the same phone number across all your Google accounts. Having these 3 things on your Contact Us page ensures that you meet the minimum threshold for Google Ads and Google Merchant Center. Next, we have 3 things that you should add to your page to go further to avoid a suspension. 1 is your business email. Your business support email should use a legitimate domain, your own domain, and not use a Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, or any other provider. Next, add your hours of operation. This is where you let customers and Google know when you're able to answer phone calls and respond to emails. Something simple such as, we operate between the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, EST. Lastly, we have our contact expectations. Clearly state what will happen and what they should expect if they leave a message or send an email. Will you reply within 1 business day? That's fine, just be upfront and let them know. If you prefer to receive phone calls during business hours, but then emails after business hours, let them know. Okay, that's it for our Contact Us page. Like I said, we have a full template for your Contact Us page. I'll leave a link to that down below. Next, let's look at our shipping policy page. Your shipping policy is a page that outlines how you're going to ship your products to your customers. There are 3 critical elements to your shipping policy page. 1, delivery zones. 2, shipping costs. 3, shipping timing. I've created a full template that you can use for your shipping policy page. It has everything you need and you can just put in your information. I'll leave a link to that template down below. First, delivery zones. Your delivery zones are simple. Where do you and where don't you ship to? This can be entire countries or broken down to states and provinces. Next, we have shipping costs. This is simply how much it costs the customer for shipping. Make sure your shipping costs are crystal clear for your customers. Make sure that you add any customs duties or taxes that the customer may pay if they ship across borders. Lastly, we have shipping timing. This is simply how long it takes to ship the products to your customers. You should include the handling time, the transit time, and the cutoff time. The handling time is the number of days it takes to process an order before it ships. The transit time is the amount of time the product will be while it's in transit before arriving to the customer. The cutoff time is defined as the time of day when the order must place their order to start the clock on the transit time. That's our shipping policy page. Let's move into our privacy policy page. Okay, our privacy policy. This tells customers that you will handle their information with care. For this page, you can generally use a template. We've created one for your policy page. I'll leave a link to that down below. In summary, Google cares about these 7 factors on your privacy policy page. What information is collected from your customers, why that information is collected, who that information is shared with, how the information is kept secure and for how long, which methods you use to collect it, how people opt out or delete the information kept about them. Does this all adhere to the country of sale? That's it for the privacy policy page. Let's move on to the next page. Terms and conditions page. Now, while we also have a template for your terms and conditions page, you need to go through it and make sure it applies to your store. I'll leave a link to our template down below. Go and check it out. Use it for your own store. It's going to save you a lot of time. Here's what Google cares about on this page. Defining the acceptance of the agreement. Limitation of liability or disclaimers. Intellectual property rights. Termination. Notification of changes. Contact information. Now let's jump into our product page. Our product page is where we're going to be sending our Google Shopping traffic. It's crucial that we make these product pages absolutely compliant to avoid getting a nasty suspension. Your product page receives extra scrutiny because Google wants transparency on the product itself. We've developed a 10-point checklist that covers the mandatory things you need on your product page to ensure compliance. Now I'm going to talk about it in this video, but I'm going to put the checklist down below. I know I've got a lot of checklists in this video, but it's going to be really helpful to make sure your website is compliant. First, we have the title. This needs to be highly relevant to the product. Don't include any promotional text in the title such as free shipping or buy it today. Don't include any emojis or any other random characters to draw attention. Next, we have the description. While it is hard for Google to really understand the complexities of your description, they do understand when it's too short. So make sure you describe your product as thoroughly as you can. Then we look at the image. The image can't be of poor resolution or quality. It must be at least 250 by 250 pixels in size. It shouldn't have a file size larger than 16 megabytes. It shouldn't include overlaid text. And ideally, it only shows the product with a white background. Okay, let's now look at price. The price must be clearly shown and match exactly what's in your product feed. Any mismatch can lead to an immediate disapproval for this product. Then we have our sale price. If you have a sale going on, then make sure that matches what's going on in your product feed. Also, if there's a date that the sale ends, make sure that it's clearly stated. Then we have our availability. This means whether your product is in stock or out of stock. Make sure this is clear. Next, methods of payment. Somewhere on your product page, you need to outline the ways that it can be purchased, like what credit cards you accept or other payment methods. Placing that information in the footer is fine as long as it's placed somewhere. And then an obvious one, an add to cart button. Simply put, there must be a way for the shopper to start their purchase from the product page. Next, we have important links. Make sure on the page there are links to your returns and refunds page, contact us page, shipping policy page, privacy policy, and terms and conditions. We'll cover the footer in the next section. This is usually where we'll add all these links. I also like to add a tab to the product description with links to the shipping policy and the returns and refunds policy. Lastly, we have any pertinent information. This is anything else about the product that could be considered necessary to know. This includes information such as the shipping weight, if you charge by weight for your shipping. If your product is not available for express shipping, even though other products are. If customization options add on to the handling time. If the product has any legal warnings. And if there are any disclaimers required for any product-related claims you've made, such as durability or function. There's our 10-point checklist for ensuring compliance on your product pages. Lastly, we have our footer. Let's get into it. We want to use our footer to the max in terms of compliance. Perfect footer includes links to your About Us, Contact Us, Returns and Refunds policy, Privacy policy, terms and conditions, shipping policy. It also includes your methods of accepted payment and your business name and address. And there we have it. That's how we ensure compliance for our e-commerce store to avoid getting a Google Merchant Center suspension. I've included a lot of templates here. I'll leave a link to all of them down below this video. Also, if you've got a Google Merchant Center suspension and you need help getting it fixed, in many cases, we can actually fix it for you with a guarantee. I'll leave a link to our website down below. Get in touch with us there and we'll be able to talk with you about how we can fix your suspension and get your shopping campaigns running again. Also, if you need help scaling your shopping campaigns and you're already doing 20K per month or more in sales and you want to go to 7 figures and beyond, get in touch with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale dozens of down below. In this video, you're going to learn what is Google Merchant Center Next, how it works, how to create an account, and then how to navigate the dashboard. You need to learn Google Merchant Center Next in order to set up your Google Shopping campaigns and Performance Max campaigns. We do this every single month for our clients, optimizing their Google Shopping, their Performance Max campaigns, and generating thousands of dollars in sales for our clients. I'm going to guide you through Google Merchant Center Next in this video. Let's go. Okay, what is Google Merchant Center Next? If we want to sell our products on Google Shopping and Performance Max, Google needs to know information about our store and our products. Every e-commerce store is different and all our products are organized in different ways. In order for Google to have all the data it needs, it requires every e-commerce store to set up a Google Merchant Center Next account. Your Google Shopping campaigns can't run unless you set up a Google Merchant Center account, and it needs to be set up properly. Think of it as a gatekeeper for your Google Shopping ads. If your products are not approved in Google Merchant Center, they won't be shown in Google Shopping ads. Everything about your inventory, retail locations, promotions, and products are included in Google Merchant Center. Understanding how it works is crucial to getting more out of your campaigns, generating more sales and more profits. Okay, but what is Google Merchant Center Next? Google Merchant Center Next is the redesigned version of Google Merchant Center. Now, I'm going to refer to the old Google Merchant Center as Google Merchant Center Classic and the new Merchant Center as Google Merchant Center Next. In the new version, GMC Next, Google has removed certain capabilities such as feed rules, supplemental feeds, and bulk editing in favor of keeping things simple. Now, they may add these features back in the future, but for now, let's just cover what's happening right now. What they've added in GMC Next is a lot of reporting and automated recommendations. We'll review some of these in a few minutes. Now I'm going to walk you through how to set up your Google Merchant Center Next account. Go to google.com/retail and click the Get Started button. Note, you'll need to have a Gmail or a Google-based email account for this. It's a good idea to use the same email you've used for your Google Ads and Google Analytics accounts where possible. Next, you'll need to begin telling Google about your business. Here, they're making sure we're eligible to have an account by asking these questions. I'm going to say, yes, we do sell products online. Then, enter the URL address for the store. And no, we don't have a physical store. Click Continue. Google then takes one final opportunity to explain what Merchant Center does and that it's only for stores with products and not services. Let's continue to Merchant Center. Here we're asked for our business name. A lot of store owners get confused and put their legal or corporate name. No, enter the name that you advertise and do business as. This is important because it will be shown alongside your ads. Now, we're finally cracked into the account interface. Note on this pop-up that they promise to add new features to Merchant Center Next. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay on top of these features and how best to use them. Let's clear that and begin. Google has now provided us with a checklist that we must complete before we can start using shopping ads over in our Google Ads account. We complete this checklist in our other videos where we go deeper into doing this properly. I'll leave a link to those tutorials down below. But for the first two, they're really simple. Let's add our business address. Note that we cannot change the country since we set it earlier. There is no way to do this other than creating a whole new account. For the business address, do not put a PO box or a rented address that you only receive mail to. Google wants an address where you operate from. Don't worry, this address will not be published online. Let's save that, and now we'll verify our phone number. Google suggests that this phone number be the same phone number you have published on your store's website. It's not necessary, but it's a faster way for Google to ensure it's a phone number connected to this business. Enter a phone number that you can verify right now, then choose your verification option. We'll complete this list in subsequent videos, so let's quickly cover GMC Next's layout and interface. At the top right, you'll see a gear icon for our settings options. The first is data sources, which we'll explore more once we get to setting up our product feed. Just know that this is the section to manage your external connections to GMC Next from. Second from the top is people and access. This is where you add and manage who gets access to this account. You can assign those users different levels of access, with admin having full control, standard having some control, and performance and insights allowing only the reading of the reports. Next are apps and services, which we'll cover soon, along with add-ons. After that is conversion settings. We haven't yet connected our conversion tracking from our Google Ads account, but we'll want to turn these two settings for auto tagging and numeric annotation. The first setting will enable you to see conversion metrics in your GMC dashboard. This can be useful as you start growing sales. The second setting simply allows Google to test sharing information about your store and your ads, such as indicating how popular it is. My team and I usually find it's a good idea to allow Google to test features like this. Finally, in the settings menu, we have general account options. Google does a good job at explaining what each option here is for, but I want to expand on the product protection setting. I recommend turning it on and leaving it at the 40% default. This means you will be alerted before anything can remove 40% or more of your products from GMC. Accidental deletion can be surprisingly easy to do, so this is a good measure to take. Now let's cover the basics of the left-hand navigation menu. Overview is simply what Google feels is the most important to greet you with when you sign into the account. It's a page where most users quickly skip over, as most of the insights it offers are better shown elsewhere. Notifications are for anything that Google feels is pressing enough for an alert. Products is likely to be the section that you go to the most. Here you'll see a full list of all the products that have been entered into Merchant Center. The Needs Attention tab is very important. It's the list of products that Google has either issued a warning about or outright disapproved. Items with warnings can still show in your shopping ads, though they may be limited in eligibility. However, disapproved items must be fixed and approved before you can advertise them. I'll have a whole video dedicated to this process that you can get a ton of great advice from. The next tab is for sales tax, which is again a separate video coming up. I want to make sure that you get a full tutorial on getting this set up right. Automatic improvements is next. These settings are about giving Google permission to make adjustments to the product information without needing your manual input. I recommend this as Google can be much faster in seeing the required changes that we can as store owners. You can see that automatic updates by default are already permitted for pricing, availability, and product conditions. I'm going to leave these on. This other box covers automatic image improvements. This means that if your main product image has something on it like writing or a logo, Google's system will automatically remove it. Doing that will keep your image from getting disapproved and therefore keep your product in your shopping ads campaign. Finally, we have Product Studio. It's an AI tool where you can try to improve your product pages. My team and I have played around with it, but have found it to be a bit more of a distraction than something that can directly help profitability and growth. I do urge you to play around with it, but take care not to spend too much time on it until they improve this tool a lot more. Next, on the left-hand side is shipping and returns. These policies are important to get right, so I actually have a full video on how to set up your shipping and returns. I'll leave a link down below. In business info, we can edit our business details. Notice that we can add more information than what we are originally asked during setup, including customer service information, business identity attributes, and our store's social media profiles. The Stores tab is for physical store locations. It's here that you would add the Google Business profile for each location you have. And that will enable you to show ads that are local to shoppers who may want to pick up items in store. And countries is of course for selecting where your ads can appear. Store quality is a section we'll review once campaigns have been running a bit. It's basically Google's scorecard for our store as it relates to the online stores we're competing with. If Google feels that we're a top quality score, it may display a badge that shows this on our ads. This is a section we'll periodically return to as our account grows and develops. We want to make sure that we're competitive on aspects like shipping and that we're presenting our products well according to Google. Now, we go to the marketing section on the left menu with free listings. There's nothing you need to set up here because in GMC Next, these are turned on by default. Free listings are where Google can show your product in shopping search results, and they're treated as organic, which is another way to say that we're not paying per click for these ads and therefore free to you as an advertiser. Of course, paid ads get much more prominence than free listings, but that's still good to have up and running. We're going to skip over ad campaign section because it's far too basic as an access point for managing our campaigns. And speaking of basic, the next two menu links under the analytics section are also somewhat basic. We can get better reports for analytics elsewhere. For summary, we see a simple click report and a trends insight report. I wouldn't call these reports useless, but they are small elements of a much larger picture. And finally, we have the product section. Here's where Google tries to give you valuable insights into how your products are trending. It also shows how you're looking against competing advertisers. This can be quite valuable in helping you understand how visible you are to shoppers within the marketplace. That wraps up the setup and navigation of Google Merchant Center Next. After you've set up your Google Merchant Center Next account, you need to go and verify your website. Also, if you're already generating at least 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, get in touch with my team and I. We help e-commerce stores scale with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimizations. We work with dozens of stores every single week. I'll leave a link to our calendar down below. Book a time. Let's chat about how we can do it for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how to add business information in your Google Merchant Center Next account. Doing this properly ensures that you can set up your Google Shopping campaigns, your Performance Max campaigns, and get sales and profits for your e-commerce store. Doing it properly also helps you avoid the nasty Google Merchant Center suspensions that can stop your ads in their tracks and are a real pain to fix. This video will guide you through the process step by step, so let's get into it. First, let's go into our Google Merchant Center Next account and click on Business Info in the left-hand menu. Notice that we've got 3 tabs: Details, Stores, and Countries. Under Details, we see a box with the address and phone number that we added when setting up the account. Now, when we click Edit Business Details, we can add more information below. For business name, you can change that here. Note that you want to use your trade name here, meaning the name under which you do business as. Don't include suffixes such as Inc. or Co., or promotional text, emojis, or trademark symbols. Keep it simple, or Google will take issue with it. Also note that this is the name that will be shown on your ads. Okay, for now, your business address. If you need to change it, you can do so here. Do not give Google a PO box or a rented mailbox address. This is against their policy and will guarantee a suspension. Ideally, your business address here will match the address you publish on your store's site. For customer service, you want to add the URL of your store's Contact Us page. You'll also want to add the email address that you'd prefer customers contact you with. For the phone number, note that this can be published by Google. So don't add a number you're not ready to take customer service calls on. Next, you can indicate if you provide customer support through live chat or a chatbot. Then you can select your preferred contact method. While this information isn't mandatory to provide to Google, since they look for it already on your website, you can skip this section. But I really recommend that you don't. Google can make errors, and those errors can lead to a possible suspension. As I discussed in this video, Google is very serious about your transparency as a business. That means it wants you to be clearly available to shoppers that come to your site. Making sure that this information is correct, both on your site and here in GMC, is extremely important. We've seen hundreds of businesses make the mistake of neglecting this section and getting suspended. Next, let's talk about business identity attributes. If, as the store owner, you identify with any of these, be sure to click them on. There isn't any published data about how selecting these attributes affects campaign performance. However, there's strong evidence of consumer interest in diversely owned businesses. I strongly recommend turning the small business attribute on unless you happen to have more than 500 employees working for you. There are clear trends of growing customer support for supporting small businesses. If Google starts making it easier for them to find you as a small business, it makes sense to add this attribute. In the next section, Google asks for the social profiles of your store. If your store enjoys a strong social media presence, this makes sense to add. Google may choose to add your profile to your business information when it shows it to shoppers. That can help you gain trust from shoppers who rely on social media in their shopping journeys. Note that business identity attributes and social profiles are really only available to US businesses right now. The next section is only if you wish to advertise in South Korea. You'll need to add your valid Korean business registration number here. And finally, if you're selling adult-oriented content, you'll need to check this box here. Okay, let's look at the Stores tab. If you have one or more physical store locations, this is where you'll connect them to your GMC account. This will enable Google to show your products locally where it sees opportunities to do so. The final tab is for countries. You don't need to add the country your account is registered in, but it doesn't hurt to do it either. But if you're ready to start advertising and shipping to other countries, be sure to add them here. And that's how we set up our business information in Google Merchant Center next. And if you're already generating 20K per month in sales with your e-commerce store and you need help getting it to the next level, my team and I do this every single week for other e-commerce stores. We do Google ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. If you'd like to learn more about what we could do to grow your store to the next level, book a time with my team and I. We'd love to meet you. In this video, you're going to learn how to claim and verify your website on Google Merchant Center next. You need to do this before you can run Google Shopping campaigns and Performance Max campaigns and generate those sales and profits for your e-commerce store. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do it in this video. Let's get into it. In your account, go to the Overview section. You'll see a checklist for all the things you still need to do to get your GMC Next account set up and ready. Let's click the Confirm the online store of your business part to get started. Make sure that your online store URL is correct here. Then select this first option to use your e-commerce platform, in this case, Shopify, for how you want to verify. Doing that will open up these platform options below and we'll select Shopify. That expands this set of instructions that we're about to follow. We want to copy the code seen here in green font to our clipboard. The easiest way to do that is to simply click this copy icon here, and your browser should notify you that it's been copied. Now, we log into our Shopify dashboard. In Shopify, we click Online Store, then Themes, then we go to Theme Actions and click on Edit Code. This opens a new tab. Now you have access to opening and editing the template files for your theme. Now we do want to be careful when making any edits here. Please don't be intimidated by the code if this is all new to you. We're going to click on theme.liquid to edit. Just find this one piece of text within it called a head tag. That's right here near the top. You can find it easily by searching the code with Ctrl+F or Command+F if you're on a Mac. Make a new line and paste the code you copied earlier. Click Save, and you've just added the new code to your website. Give it a quick minute, then go back to Merchant Center and click Verify your online store. With that, you've verified that you own your store URL and claimed it for your account. Now we want to keep going through and completing the checklist that we saw at the start of this video.
If you've been following our videos, you've probably learned a lot already. We've seen your comments and a lot of you guys are asking for a lot more. More personalized guidance, real-time feedback, and help scaling your ads. That's why we created our KeyCom Academy. It's a private community designed for honest e-com store owners like you that want real results. We know that setting up your campaigns is just the start. The real challenge is getting those ads to perform at their best. And that's where the KeyCom Academy comes in. You get direct access to the KeyCommerce team. We're here to answer all your questions and guide you in real time. Every week, we dive into your specific questions. We give you feedback on your campaigns and help you optimize for better results. Plus, you'll be part of an amazing community, a community of store owners who share wins together, support each other, and grow together. If you're ready to take your campaigns to the next level, check out the link below. We've created this space with you in mind and we'd love to see you inside.
Next, you're going to have to set up your shipping and returns settings in Google Merchant Center next. Also, if you're a store owner that's already generating 20K per month in sales with your e-commerce store and you want to take it to the next level, book a time with my team and I. We'll use Google ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale up e-commerce stores. I'd love to talk to you about how we could do it for your store. So book a time with my team and I. In this video, you're going to learn how to set up your shipping and return settings in Google Merchant Center next. You need to do this before you can run your Google Shopping and your Performance Max campaigns. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this video. Let's get into it. First, log into Google Merchant Center and click Shipping and Returns on the left-hand menu. Shipping Policies is the first tab here, so we'll tackle this first. Click Add Shipping Policy here. Now, before we add our policies, if you don't have a shipping policy on your website, go to the link below this video and get access to our shipping policy template. You can use this to create the shipping policies page for your store with all the information Google requires. I'll leave a link to that down below. Now, we're asked to select the country or multiple countries that this shipping policy will apply to. I'm going to select our store's domestic country for the United States for this policy, but I will talk about setting up for other countries as well. On the next page, we select the country again and click Continue. Now, we're being asked about which products this shipping policy will apply to. I'm going to select all products. I'm doing this to keep this video simple, but I do want to touch on how you can select specific products for this shipping policy to apply to. It will take just 20 seconds and it's valuable information even if you don't need it right now. In our product data feed and our product feed, which we cover in our other videos, you'll need to set up an attribute called shipping label. And for the products that you want to have a specific shipping policy applied to, you'll set a label for them under this attribute. For example, oversized freight. With those data placed in your feed on this page, you'll select specific products and then assign that label for the policy. Now, let's return to setting up the shipping policy and click Continue. This page is about determining delivery times. Google tries to make it easy for you if you use just one popular carrier in your country. For example, if you are in the United States and you just use FedEx, you will add the address that you ship from here. Then you'll add the maximum number of days it takes you to get the product into that carrier's hands. This is known as the handling time. Identify which days you do this fulfillment on and what the cutoff time is for an order to come in during the day. For example, if you set a cutoff time of 2 p.m. and you have a handling time of 1 day, then an order being made at 12 p.m. must be in the carrier's hands by the next day. But an order coming in at 3 p.m. can go out in 2 business days. Next, you set the carrier and its service level. Now, if you use different carriers which depend on the product or shipping option that your customers select, then choose Enter specific delivery times manually. Here, you're going to again set a cutoff time and a handling time. Then you're going to set a range for your expected transit times. That means the number of days from the moment your carrier gets the product from you and when it arrives to your customer's shipping address. Note, there's a minimum and a maximum. That will be your range of days. You can set this for all destinations or by zones of destination that you custom set. Down below, you'll see Google's interpretation of the information you've given it for the total delivery time. If that looks right, click Continue. On this last step of the process, Google wants to know how much the shipping costs. If you decide to offer free shipping for all your items, then simply go with the default here and click Save. Now, I strongly recommend that you offer free shipping. 9 out of 10 shoppers say that free shipping is their biggest incentive to shop online. Stores that offer free shipping have 30% higher average order values, and many shoppers expect free shipping, and 61% of customers say that they're likely to cancel if free shipping isn't offered. But if you don't want to offer free shipping, Google offers many ways to calculate the pricing on shipping. I think it does a good job of describing each method, so I won't go through each one here. Google also makes it simple to edit these policies in the future. So click Save on your setup and let's set up our returns policy. Under the Returns Policy tab, you may see information like this. If so, Google has already sent its indexing robots to your store to learn your return policy. You can review it and choose to accept and continue, edit and continue, or start over. Whichever you choose, the next page is for reviewing or supplying key information regarding your return policy. Google makes it mandatory for your store to have a dedicated page that details your store return policy, and you must give it the URL of that page. If you don't have a returns policy or you want to improve yours to make it much better for your store, go to the link below this video and access our returns policy template. You can use this to copy and paste the policies that we recommend for your store. I'll leave a link to that down below. Okay, for your own policy, you need to add in to Google Merchant Center which countries this policy applies to, then whether you accept returns or not. And finally, if you accept exchanges. Clicking Continue, the next page focuses on 2 other essential details. The first, what must the condition of the product be in for you to accept returns? And how long does the customer have to return the product to you? You can also add in an extension window around the holidays, which some of the biggest retailers often do. And on the final page, we confirm the last 4 elements that Google wants you to know. How may a customer return items? In what currency they will be refunded? Is there a restocking fee? And if so, how much? And finally, how long it will take before the customer receives their refund. Once you've entered this information and click Next, Google again presents you with all these details of your policy to give one more review. Take great care in making sure your website policy and this policy match up perfectly. Google strictly monitors this, and you will get in trouble for any discrepancies, up to and including suspension of your ads. Repeat this process if you have separate returns policies for other countries. And with this done, you've now completed entering your shippings and returns information at an account level, and Google can now deliver the correct information in your ads. A common problem that I see is people setting this up and then forgetting all about it when they change the policies on their site. So keep Google Merchant Center in mind as the platform where you've officially stated your policies to Google. And remember to always keep it up to date with your business. I'll end this lesson echoing my early advice regarding free shipping. Your shipping and return policies should be viewed as part of your marketing. It may be expensive to offer perks like free shipping or 90 days no questions asked returns, but this is how many businesses have found enormous success. The data is clear on this. Shoppers are incredibly attracted to stores that minimize their risk for making a bad purchase. Google knows this, and that's why it puts this information in the Google Shopping ads. That's how we set up our shipping and returns in our Google Merchant Center Next account. After doing this, you're going to need to set up your tax information in your account as well. Also, if you're already generating 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to take it to the next level, book a time with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale e-commerce stores every single week. I'd love to meet you. Let's chat. Book a time below. In this video, you're going to learn how to set up your tax settings in your Google Merchant Center Next account. If you don't set these up, you won't be able to run Google Shopping campaigns or Performance Max campaigns. And if you don't set them up correctly, you could get your Google Merchant Center account suspended. Now, Google has different tax requirements depending on where your business is located. Google currently sees the world of taxes as 3 regions: the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. We can cover Canada and the rest of the world quite quickly as they're pretty simple. For Canada, you don't need to set anything up. Just know that you can't include taxes as part of the product price. Your taxes must be visible as a separate charge on the checkout page. That's it. For the rest of the world, it's even easier. Simply confirm that you're not in the US. Then Google will assume that any taxes that you're required to collect are just included in the product price. Now, let's cover the United States. The tax setting requirements for the United States are more complex because of the differing state requirements. It can also change depending on your business and your products. This is where that professional tax advice is really essential. You can set up the tax rates you need to collect at an account level. That's what we're going to look at right here. You can do it at a product level using the product feed. The tax rates that a shopper is shown from here must match or exceed what they're charged at the checkout. This is a strictly enforced rule by Google that you don't want to be on the wrong side of. Now let's walk through setting up the tax settings in Google Merchant Center. Under the products menu, we click on the sales tax tab here. To begin, let's click edit. Now, because Google has our business address already, it's offering a setup here based on that state. You'll see here under sales tax setup that we can choose automatic based on customer location or manual. 99% of the time, you'll want to choose the automatic option. That's because US tax laws can be wildly different from each other. There are times that you're required to collect tax from out-of-state customers, and other times you're not. It depends on which state your business makes its home in. Sometimes it even depends on which state your customer is in. Leaving this to automatic leaves it to Google, who understands and stays up to date with these complexities. But of course, you can set it to manual if you're certain of your own tax requirements. Clicking here to show all states, we can now go through each state and set the tax rate we'll collect for each one. The last thing to cover here is whether your charge for shipping the products is taxable. Again, this varies from state to state. I recommend you speak with a professional tax advisor for absolute certainty. My team and I at KeyCommerce has put together a table for which states do and do not charge sales tax on shipping that we use for our clients. It's up to date as of this video's recording, and if you want to reference it, please go to the link down below this video. Okay, let's click save. And we're done. Okay, that's how we set up our taxes in Google Merchant Center. Also, if you're already generating 20K per month or more in sales for your e-commerce store, we help e-commerce stores scale to 7 figures and above. We do this with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. We only work with e-commerce, and we'd love to help you and talk through the strategy that we would implement for your e-commerce store. You can book a time with my team and I below, and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your e-commerce store. In this video, you're going to learn how to link your Google Merchant Center Next account to your Google Ads account. You need to do this before you can set up your Google Shopping campaigns and your Performance Max campaigns. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this video. Let's go. First, you need to go to your Google Ads account. If you own multiple accounts, make sure that you're looking at the one that you want to connect to your GMC Next account. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a 10-digit number. Highlight it and copy it onto your clipboard. If you don't know how to do that, simply write it down on a piece of paper. Now, open up your Google Merchant Center Next account and go to this gear icon to open up your settings menu. Click on Apps and Services. Under Google Services, click Add Service. Here, choose Google Ads and click Next. Now, because Google already knows that there's a Google Ads account registered to this email, it makes our life easy by providing it here. However, if it's not there, enter the 10-digit number from your Google Ads account and click Next. Google will confirm with you that these two accounts will now share information. Click Link and you're done. Also, if you're already generating 20K per month or more with your e-commerce store and you want to go to 7 figures and beyond, book a time with my team and I. Every week, we help dozens of e-commerce stores scale with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. Book a time with my team and I, and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how to add your Shopify products to Google Merchant Center Next. This allows you to set up Google Shopping and Performance Max campaigns for your store and generate sales and profits. Now, before you do this, I do recommend that you go through our video on making your e-commerce store compliant for Google Merchant Center and Google Shopping. This video will help prevent you from getting a nasty suspension, which is one of the worst things that can happen to your Google Merchant Center account. I'll leave a link to that video down below. Let's get into setting up our Shopify products on Google Merchant Center Next. Let's go. We're going to start in your Shopify store account. From the admin page, click Settings, then Apps and Sales Channels. Now click this Shopify App Store button. Search for the Google and YouTube app, which should look something like this page. Click Install. Confirm here that you'll allow Google the necessary access to your store's information by clicking Install once more. Okay, we're now installed and we want to connect it to your Google account. Click Connect Google Account. You'll likely be prompted to sign in with your Google ID. Of course, choose the one associated with your Google Ads and Google Merchant Center accounts for this store. Google asks to confirm several times. Now, as long as you've completed all the steps for Google compliance in the video I mentioned earlier, you'll now be asked to connect your Google Merchant Center account. You'll likely just have one to choose from, but if you do have more, just make sure that the ID that you're selecting is the same for the account that you're connecting to. Click Connect. Scrolling down further, let's review our product feed settings. Looking into product sync settings, the option is to let the app automatically sync with Merchant Center. Of course, let's leave that to automatic. Here, we choose the countries we'll advertise and deliver to, and the languages we offer customer services in. And for shipping settings, I recommend you set it to automatically import shipping settings. This will make sure that your shipping settings are always in sync between Shopify and Google, as well as checkout link settings. We want to control this kind of information at just one source, our Shopify store. Let's agree to these terms and conditions here and click Complete Setup. Switching to your Google Merchant Center account, we're now going to check if it's worked. Now, you'll need to give the system up to an hour to connect, so we don't do this right away. But after a few minutes, go to the gear icon in the upper right corner and click on it for the settings menu. Click Data Sources. We see here that a data source has indeed been created called Content API. That's how we get our Shopify products set up on Google Merchant Center Next. After you get this done, you're going to need to go and optimize your products and your product feed in your Google Merchant Center Next account. Doing this allows you to generate way more traffic, way more sales, and way more profits for your e-commerce store. Also, if you're already generating over 20K per month in sales with your e-commerce store and you need help getting to 7 figures and beyond, get in touch with my team and I. We scale our clients' e-commerce stores day in, day out using Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. Book a time with my team and I, and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how to optimize your product data and your product feed in your Google Merchant Center Next account. Not optimizing your product data and your product feed is one of the biggest mistakes I see store owners making. Not doing this holds you back from so many more sales and so much more in profit. Now, why are we optimizing our product feed and our product data in our Google Merchant Center Next account? Google uses your product feed and your product data to understand your products and who to show them to with your Google Shopping campaigns and your Performance Max campaigns. Most store owners just create the feed, but they don't know that they can optimize this further and get much better results. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a store that sells scented candles. It has a minimalist design with short and emotive titles. Something like Sunset Beach Vibes. We see this all the time, and it can work great on your website, your product page, working with its aesthetics. However, Sunset Beach Vibes as a product title is not optimized. People looking for candles are not searching for that on Google. So you'll want to revise this product title in Google Merchant Center next to include more relevant keywords, such as scented candle, maybe its color, and maybe its burning time, its wax time, or maybe even features such as long lasting and so on. In this video here, you're going to learn all the attributes that can be edited. I'm going to give you the most important optimization tactics on the crucial ones. If I cover anything too quickly, don't worry, I've also created a full handbook on how to optimize your product feed. This takes you through everything in this video in even more detail. I'll leave a link to download that handbook down below. Alright, let's get into our Google Merchant Center Next account and start optimizing our product feed and our product data. Let's go. In the products section, which we'll get to by clicking products on the left menu, you will now see a list of your products in Merchant Center. Clicking on one brings us to its product details page where we can review the data Google is working with. For what we want to do, you'll click this button to edit product. As a reminder, changes that we make here do not affect the data on your website. If you change the product title here, your ads will use this one, but will still go to your store's page and show the original title. Okay, let's run through each of these attributes one by one. This is the product page link, pretty self-explanatory. I recommend you don't change it. Now, here's the product title. This is an attribute I do recommend you consider for revising. You want to think like a shopper here and put the keywords that best describe your product. That's, of course, its product type, such as scented candle, to reuse my previous example, but also keywords that narrow down from a broad product category to more specific. With the candle example, that might be what it smells like, or if it's made with beeswax or organic beeswax. You see how these keywords are search terms that shoppers may use. Therefore, you want Google to consider your product highly relevant to them. Now, don't overdo this. You don't want to keyword stuff your title. You see this when shopping on Amazon quite often with long word salad titles. You want to be specific and descriptive. That's it. Okay, moving on to the brand attribute. If you're selling your own stuff, this will be your store's name or the specific brand you've assigned to the product. If you're reselling a major brand, let's say a Timex watch, then you'll then want to put your brand in here. Next is the description. Whatever description is pulled from your website is usually fine from my experience. Google doesn't heavily weight the keywords in the description for relevancy to the shopper's searches. This doesn't need to be perfect, so don't overthink the optimization here. Just keep it free from promotional text such as free shipping or buy one, get one free or anything like that, as it's against Google's policy. Let's scroll down to product images. For optimization, Google offers a generative AI tool to help you spruce up your images. I'm going to leave that outside the scope of this video. To be honest, it hasn't been wildly useful to my team and I so far. Let's keep going. Next is product type. This is for your own organization, not Google's. It's useful for when you're creating product groups based on the product type. Moving on to condition. This is simply where you can identify if your product is refurbished or used. Otherwise, Google assumes a default of new. Now, for price, currency, availability, sales price, and sales date range, I suggest that you change these at the data source. That means if your data source is your Shopify store, change these details there, not here. Google checks these attributes regularly each day. A discrepancy can get your product disapproved quickly. I've never seen a situation where it's better to change these attributes directly in Merchant Center. The next section covers product identifiers. This is where many common mistakes happen, so please pay close attention here. This section will save you from future headaches. The ID or SKU is the unique identifier for this product. For Google, if you've successfully imported your feed from Shopify, this should already be filled in. Do not overwrite it. Doing so would create a new product for Google. They will forget all the data history it collected for the original one. My team and I have seen entire catalogs have their IDs accidentally revised and the campaign performance plummeted immediately after. The next field is for your product's GTIN or Global Trade Item Number. This can have several other acronyms such as UPC, EAN, or ISBN. Basically, it's the internationally recognized ID for your product. You know the barcode that gets scanned at checkout? It's that. Your product might not have one, and that's okay. We'll cover that in the next few seconds. But if your product does have a GTIN code, this is where you want to enter it. One of the most common warnings that Google has for products is a missing GTIN. This is because when Google believes that a product has one, it wants to be absolutely sure. Because a product with a GTIN is likely not only being sold by you, but by other sellers online too. If Google can identify all these products as the same one, it can better optimize your ads. This is because it uses the data history of how all the other sellers have performed with this same product. This is why it presses so hard for an accurate GTIN here. However, not all products have GTINs. You may have a one-of-a-kind or vintage product with no identifier. Or you can assign an MPN, manufacturer part number. If your product isn't a one-of-a-kind, then it's crucial that you have an NPN. Make up one if you have to, that's totally fine. Just keep it unique within your catalog. This lets Google know that this product can be purchased multiple times. That's important because Google will start learning about how the product performs with your shopping audience. If it's a one-of-a-kind item, Google won't bother trying to learn anything about the performance of this one product because there's no point. We've seen so many store sellers make this mistake. In turn, they lose out on Google's smart optimization because they miss this. Okay, the next three sections are language, countries, and marketing methods. The attributes aren't editable at a product level. Google displays them here just for reference, so let's skip over to custom labels. These labels are not visible to shoppers on Google. They're simply used by you, the advertiser, for your own purposes. The most common and useful way to use these is for product segmentation. This is useful for a few things, like if you want to label all your high margin products, your best sellers, or your high ticket items. Then when you set up your campaign, you can organize all your products according to these labels. It's very useful. I cover this more deeply in the campaign setup lessons in both of our Google Shopping Ads course and our Performance Max course. Both are free. I'll leave a link down below to each one. All right, let's review the next section, which is called Apparel Product Details. It's called that because these attributes are mandatory if your product is apparel. However, even if your product isn't apparel, I strongly suggest that you put in relevant information here. For example, if you're selling a couch, then color, size, material, and pattern are all attributes that people filter by when couch shopping. Or if you're selling a kid's bike designed for girls, then gender and age group makes sense to put in. Let's run through each of these attributes. For color, choose the dominant color. If there's a second color, add a slash and then add that color as well. If there's a third color, add another slash and add a third color. Stop adding colors after that. Google only wants the three most dominant colors. If your product has a bunch of colors and none are dominant, simply enter multicolored. And as a recommendation, keep your color name simple. Instead of dusty ash, just say gray. Instead of blushing rose, just use pink. This ensures that you can be properly filtered by color on Google. For size, also keep it simple. Use S for small, M for medium, and so on. For example, for shoe size, use 11.5 for 11.5. For non-apparel items, it gets a little less intuitive. So my team has written up a guide that I'll share with you. It helps understand the best formats to use here when size is an important attribute for your product. The link is down below this video. Go and check it out. The size type attribute is specific to apparel only. It refers to the cut, whether it's petite, plus size, regular, or tall, and so on. The size system is also just for apparel. Because different countries have different systems of indicating size measurements, this is where you can ensure Google gets it right. Next is gender. If your product isn't targeted towards a gender, just keep this on the default of unisex. Material works like the color attribute. Input the dominant material, then secondary and third as necessary. Pattern is not a mandatory attribute, but if your product has a pattern, then this is the place to indicate it. Age group is self-explanatory since Google knows the age ranges in the selection fields. In the additional product details section, I'm going to cover 5 of these attributes. The last 4 are very particular to only a few types of products. The first one here is whether the product is adult oriented. It's very different from setting the age group to adult. Google allows for the advertising of adult-oriented products in most countries, but it strictly demands that they be categorized as such. The next is multi-pack. Multi-pack means that you've taken 2 or more of the same item that is available in your store and combined them in one package. For example, let's say you sell t-shirts. You can sell them individually on your store, but you can also create a package of 2 t-shirts. In this case, you would put in the number 2 for this multi-pack product. This is different from creating a bundle, which is the next attribute. Checking this would indicate to Google that this product is a package of 2 or more different items packaged into a bundle. Next is item group ID. Let's say you're selling a t-shirt and it comes in different sizes and colors. The t-shirt itself is considered one product, and each available size or color is called a variation. So, if this item is one of those variations, item group ID is how you identify the product it belongs to. This ID must be unique to that product and remain the same for all its variants. The final attribute I want to cover in this section is product highlight. Small store owners do not make enough use of this attribute in product data. Let's say you make and sell quilts and the material that you use is all organic. This is where you would share that as a product highlight. It will help Google know that when shoppers specifically look for organic or sustainable bedding, that this product is relevant to advertise. Every product has at least 3 or 4 highlights like this that can be called out. It just takes a bit of time and thought on your part. See below for a link to product highlights for various products that may help you in writing these. These are the small details that bring incremental advantages when you're competing against major online stores that have much bigger budgets. Okay, the rest of the attributes are pretty clear in what Google requires. If you have any questions about them or even want a deeper dive on product attributes, then please let us know in the comments below. That's how we optimize our product data and our product feed in Google Merchant Center next. Also, if you're already generating 20K per month in sales or more with your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, book a time with my team and I. We help e-commerce stores scale with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. I'll leave a link to our calendar down below, book a time, and let's talk about how we can scale your e-commerce store. In this video, you're going to learn how to fix product disapprovals in Google Merchant Center next. You log into your Google Merchant Center account and you see this. Now, there are over 50 reasons for having your products disapproved on Google Merchant Center. It depends on your products and your store setup. This means that your product disapprovals are going to be unique. I'm going to show you the process my team and I use for fixing product disapprovals quickly. I'm also going to take you through fixing the 5 most common product disapprovals. Now, there are over 50 different product disapprovals that you could have. I don't have time in this video to go through every single one. So I'm going to go through the 5 most common ones and then leave a link down below to all the other product disapproval videos that we've created. Go there and find our tutorial on how to fix your exact product disapproval in what's showing in Google Merchant Center. So let's get into it. First, what is a product disapproval and why can't Google just approve our products? Well, Google requires that anybody running Google Shopping campaigns meet a certain standard. This includes your products, your store, and the data in your product feed. If Google didn't have a way to double check that you're setting up your product feed in a good way, all the Google Shopping results are going to look like this. So Google created Google Merchant Center, which is like a gatekeeper for the data for your products. This means that only store owners that fix their feed and follow Google's rules can show their ads on Google Shopping. So the product disapproval means that Google sees something in your product feed that you need to fix, and so we're going to do that right now. Okay, so what does the process look like for fixing your product disapprovals? Well, first you need to fetch your feed. You do this by going to Products, Your Feed, and clicking Reprocess or Fetch. Fixing your product disapprovals is a troubleshooting process, and it can be very frustrating. That's why we've created a full resource on fixing every single product disapproval that you can have. I'll leave a link to that down below. Here's what it looks like. It basically goes through every single product disapproval that you can think of and how to actually fix it for your store. For now, I'm just going to go over the 5 most common product disapprovals and how to fix them. But like I said, if your product disapproval that you're seeing right now isn't one of these 5, no worries. Go down below, click the link. We have a full guide on every single one, including a video on how to fix it. Okay, so what's the most common disapproval that you could have? It's not having your website claimed and verified. This is a disapproval that happens when you haven't claimed or verified your website in the Google Merchant Center business information settings. This is a very easy fix. So just go into Merchant Center, go to business information, and go through the process. I have a video on how to actually do this and verify your website in less than 5 minutes, and I'll leave a link to that video down below. So go and check it out if this is an error that you're seeing. The next most common error is not having your shipping settings set up properly. This error happens if you haven't set up your shipping settings properly in Google Merchant Center or added them to the product feed. This is also a very easy fix. Just make sure that your shipping settings in Google Merchant Center match what's actually on your shipping information page on your store. Then go ahead and refetch your feed. Now, I also have a full lesson that goes deep into setting up your shipping settings on Google Merchant Center. I'll also leave a link to that down below. The next error you might be seeing is where it says pending initial review. You'll sometimes see this error when you first submit your products for review in your product feed. This just means that Google is still in the process of crawling your feed and checking that everything is okay. There's really nothing you can do here except just wait. I usually check the feed every day, and usually this error is cleared up after about 3 days. If not, try refetching the feed again. Next, we have a more generic disapproval of a violation of Google Shopping policy. This is a generic disapproval that Google provides if you've violated one of the Google Shopping policies. We might see this when we're working with sensitive niches like supplements or things like that. This is a tough one, and you'll really just have to go through Google's policies carefully to see what happened. Check to see if any of the products that have been disapproved in this way violate any of Google's policies. I'll usually go through and check all the policies, but if I can't find the answer, I'll contact Google's support. They'll usually point me in the right direction. You can contact Google by clicking the Help button at the top of Google Merchant Center. Then click Help and Support. I also have a page on my website that has a list of all the Google support numbers. I'll leave a link to that page down below. Next, we have an error for unavailable mobile and desktop landing page. This error occurs when Google crawls your website and isn't able to access the mobile or the desktop product page. Maybe there was some weird redirect error, or maybe there's a problem with your site, or maybe your website isn't live yet. Make sure that you can access your website from anywhere in the world, and make sure that you don't need to be logged into your Shopify dashboard to view the website. Google is disapproving you because they think that you're not providing an optimal user experience. Sometimes we'll see this error, refetch the feed, and then it will just go away. This might be because Google's crawlers thought it just wasn't working. But with a second crawl, it worked fine, so we're good. The next error we have is the promotional overlay on image. This error occurs when Google recognizes that you've got some sort of text, branding, or promotional overlay on your product images. Google wants your product images to just be a basic product on a simple background. But I'll admit, being creative with your product images can result in better results. There are a few easy ways to fix this error. I'll leave a link to my video that goes over them down below. Next, we have the product disapproval, invalid value. This error happens when there's a mismatch between your feed and your store in terms of the availability of your products. For example, your feed says the products are in stock, but when someone goes to the product page, it says they're sold out. Google sees this as a bad user experience. They'll disapprove the product because of this mismatch. Just make sure that your feed is updated to what's actually on your website and then refetch the feed. Okay, they're the top errors that we see happening with product disapprovals and how to fix them. As you can see, each one requires a unique approach on how to fix it. It also depends on your own store and how you've set up your GMC account. You may have an error that's completely different to one of these, and I understand that. That's why my team and I have created a huge guide that goes through every single product disapproval that you can have in Google Merchant Center next. We've also created a tutorial on how to fix each one in great detail. I'm going to leave a link to that resource down below so you can go through, fix your product disapprovals, and get your Google Shopping ads running. Also, if you want to learn how to set up, optimize, and scale your Google Shopping campaigns to over 100K per month, I've created a full free course on how to do this. It's completely free, shows you everything you need, and I'll leave a link to that down below. Also, if you'd like my team and I's help in setting up and scaling your Google ads to over 7 figures, we do this for dozens of e-commerce stores around the globe. If you're doing over 20K in sales per month already, we can take you there. I'll leave a link to my calendar down below. You can book a team with my team and I, and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how to set up merchant promotions in Google Merchant Center Next for your e-commerce store. Merchant Center promotions look like this on your ads. They make your ads stand out from competitors. Your ads take up more space, and this increases your click-through rate, getting you more traffic and more sales. I'm going to show you exactly how to set them up. To do this, you do need to already have set up the promotion code in your Shopify account. If you don't know how to set up a promo code or a discount code in your Shopify account, I'll leave a link down below to a tutorial on how to do this. After you've done that, we're ready to set up merchant promotions in your Google Merchant Center Next account. Let's get into it. Okay, so we'll start here in our Merchant Center Next account. Click Promotions in the left menu. Now we'll click Add Promotion and select Create Promotion. First thing we're going to do is select the country that our promotion is applicable to. For this example, we will use the United States. We'll keep the default language here, and the currency will automatically set the default currency of our account. Now here, we're asked where we want the promotion to appear. In our ads, in the free product listings that Google offers us, in its Chrome browser, where they have features to sometimes show seller promotions, or in the Buy on Demand Google listings. Generally, you'll want to keep all of these selected. This will get you the most exposure for your promotion as possible. Now, there are 3 promotion categories. One is being a fixed amount off. So, for example, $100 off. This optional field is where you can set a minimum purchase amount to be eligible for the discount. For example, it could be $100 off any purchase amount above $1,000. Or you can set the eligibility for only those who buy a certain quantity of products. For example, shoppers must buy 2 products to get $100 off their order. Or you can set it so they need to buy a quantity of the same products to get the discount. For example, buy 6 of the same items to get $100 off. Of course, the rules you set here must be the same that you set for the code in your store. Now, the next type of promotion that you can run is a percentage off. This can simply be a percentage off like 20% off. Or you may require that shoppers buy a certain quantity of products to get a percentage off, which you would indicate down here. Or you can set it so that they must buy a quantity of the same product to get that percentage discount. You will set the parameter down here. And finally, my favorite promotion is free shipping. In choosing this, you simply need to indicate what kind of delivery speed you're offering with it. Is it standard? Is it overnight? Is it 2-day shipping? Pro tip, Google loves calling attention to fast and free shipping with additional labels. Stores that offer this get a boost for their ads. When you select the shipping type, make sure that it works with the shipping information that you've already set up in your account. Promotion details is where you'll enter the minimum purchase amount you'll allow for free shipping eligibility. Next is the promotion title. Continuing with our example offering free shipping, you would probably just want to call it free shipping or something like that. It's a title that shoppers see, so you don't want it to be an internal code or something like that. You want it to be shopper friendly and descriptive. And then promotion ID is not going to be visible to shoppers. This will only be used by you internally. Let's just enter free_ship. Next, you want to identify which products are eligible for this promotion. So you could create a filter which would be based on your product data. It will show you the available product data that you could use to assign this promotion to. As you can see here, we have in our custom feed labels where we've identified the price range of the products that we're advertising. But you can do it in different ways, such as by item IDs, product types, brands, or item group IDs. This next option is usually for more advanced users. If you have a mapped out product feed for your products, you can set your promotion ID attribute. That promotion ID needs to match what we've set above here. Or you can simply click Apply My Promotion to All Products. Here it asks you for a promo code to give to shoppers. This will be the promo code that you created within your store platform for use at checkout. And finally, enter your promotion code start and end dates for eligibility, and then click Save. That's how we set up merchant promotions in our Google Merchant Center Next account. If you have a lot of products, you can also set this up with a promotions feed. This allows you to tell Google what promotions you are running for your different products. Also, if you're already generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to take it to 7 figures and beyond, book a time with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale up our client accounts, and we'd love to help you with that too. Book a time, let's chat, and we'll talk through what we could do for your e-commerce store. I hope you've got a lot of value out of this free Google Merchant Center Next mini course. The team and I made this now because so much has changed in Google Merchant Center Next. I hope you found it valuable, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. We're constantly trying to improve the content that we're creating for you guys, so we appreciate any feedback you have. Also, if you found this mini course helpful, please consider leaving us a review. I'll leave some links below so you can review us on Trustpilot, Google, and Clutch. It takes 30 seconds of your time, but goes a huge way to helping us and helping us make more content to help you guys out there. Also, if you're doing over 20K per month in sales and you need help growing your e-commerce store with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization, my team can help. We do this every single week for dozens of e-commerce stores. Book a time down below and let's chat and talk through how we'll do this for your e-commerce store. In this video, you're going to learn about the structure of Google Shopping campaigns. Understanding how Google Shopping campaigns are structured will help you better optimize and scale your Google Shopping campaigns for more sales and more profits. Let's start with how campaign structures look starting at the account level. This is the hierarchy that you will grow familiar with over time. Your account contains all your Google Shopping campaigns. Inside those campaigns, you have multiple ad groups. Ad groups then contain product groups, which are composed of your individual products. This structure lets you organize your products into themes and categories. This makes it much easier to organize, especially once you have multiple campaigns running. It also allows you to see which of your products and categories are performing well or not. For example, if you sell games, your structure could look like this. Here we see a hierarchical structure of your catalog with campaigns divided by top categories: video games and board games. Within the board games campaign, the ad groups are then divided again between these: card, trivia, and strategy. Then, within strategy, we have our product groups, which are chess, backgammon, and the classics. Finally, you have the products themselves. Setting up a structure like this lets you more easily set finer goals. You can also quickly see performance patterns as it relates to stock. For example, if you happen to make less margin on Monopoly than Risk, you can bid less on Monopoly. Or what if a certain product group sees a lower conversion rate compared to your other products? You can investigate what issue may be affecting that part of your catalog. For example, what if the video games category has a much higher bounce rate than the board games category? Perhaps your site has poor navigation for that section. A well thought out structure like this helps you much better identify opportunities and areas of improvement. Much better than simply throwing everything into just one ad group. This is a mistake that my team and I see every single day when we take a look at campaigns run by other people or other agencies. It's so much easier if you just get this right from the start. Okay, that's how Google Shopping campaigns are structured. And if you're already doing 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want help scaling to 7 figures and beyond, get in touch with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale dozens of stores every single month. We can do the same for you. Let's chat, book a time in our calendar, and we'll talk through how we'll do this for you. In this video, you're going to learn how to set up your Google Shopping campaigns. When set up and optimized properly, Google Shopping campaigns can generate thousands of dollars in sales and profits for your e-commerce store. My team and I do this every single day for dozens of e-commerce stores. I'm going to walk you through our exact process for creating these Google Shopping campaigns in your Google Ads account. Now, to do this, you do need to already have your Google Merchant Center Next account set up and your product feed set up. I have a full free course on how to set up both of these. It's completely free, and I'll leave a link down below. Once you've done that, come back here and let's set up our shopping campaigns. Let's get into it. First, let's go to our Google Ads account. To create a new campaign, click the plus icon here and select Campaign. On this page, you'll be asked for the goal of your campaign. This is Google's method of providing a guided setup. This is meant to make it easier for new or experienced advertisers. By this point, you do already know so much more than most advertisers out there. Therefore, I suggest that you choose Create a Campaign without a goals guidance here. Then let's click Continue. Here we see the various campaign types available. We're going to select Shopping and Continue. Scrolling down, Google now asks us to confirm which goals this campaign will have. Since this is for e-commerce.
Oh, and real quick, if you're enjoying this video, you'll probably love what we've built inside the KeyCom Academy. It's our private community made specifically for honest e-com store owners who want real results from their ads. Inside, you get access to the KeyCommerce team. We host weekly live coaching calls. We've got exclusive step-by-step courses on Google Ads and Meta Ads and more. We work closely with you to make sure that your campaigns are performing. It's also a space to meet other honest e-com store owners that are building and growing in the e-commerce world. So you're never growing alone. If that sounds interesting to you, check out the link below and I'd love to see you there.
So we want our goal to be set as purchases. Next, we see our Merchant Center account, which is correctly connected to Google Ads. And here, we once again see an option for a Performance Max campaign versus a standard shopping campaign. It may seem confusing because you already selected shopping instead of Performance Max. This is Google nudging you towards the option that benefits Google the most. They do this under the guise of a recommendation. Now, the more that you work with Google Ads, the more that you get nudged like this. I urge you to always carefully consider which is right for you. Don't always blindly go with what Google is pushing for. I recommend any questions in the comments below if you're not sure which choice to make. Okay, let's go back to creating our campaign. Let's confirm that we want standard and click continue. You're now being asked to name your campaign. Honestly, this is mostly personal preference. You can't go wrong as long as it's descriptive enough for you to remember what the campaign is. At minimum, I like to put my initials at the start and then the campaign type. But there's really no right or wrong way to create these titles as long as it works for you. These additional settings are not often used, but we'll cover what they do. Inventory filter is used for limiting which products from your product feed can be used in this campaign. Because you can filter at the ad group level, which I'll be showing you in a moment, this rarely makes sense to do at a campaign level. Local products is for when you also have your products in a physical store location as well. That's beyond the scope of this video, so I'll leave that turned off. Campaign URL options is where you would set parameters that can be appended to your ad links. Again, out of scope for what we're going to cover here. Next is bidding. We'll cover bid strategies in another video, which I'll link below, so we'll leave it on manual CPC for now to keep it simple. Budget is what you're willing to pay on average per day while this campaign is running for a month. We're not going to worry about campaign priority here. This setting is only useful if you're running an advanced strategy of multiple campaigns targeting the same products. Under targeting, we have networks. We have the option to include or not include Google search partners. In the early stages of account growth, it's always wisest to not include search partners. We want to keep our focus narrow on just Google shoppers for now. For devices, Google no longer offers the option to adjust based on the shopper's device, so there's nothing to change here. For locations, you can of course enter any region that you want this campaign to cover. Anything from countries to states to cities or even zip codes. We're going to leave it here as targeting the United States. There is one important change to make in location options as we open this up. We want to set this to include only presence and not presence or interest. This will firmly keep your ads within the location you're targeting. For start and end dates, you can set the dates your campaign will be active for. I'll just leave it as it is, starting today and having no end date. For the ad group name, that's completely up to you. I'll keep the default here. And finally, since we left the setting to manual bids earlier, Google is asking what bid to start applying by default to our products. I'll set that here and click Create Campaign. Okay, the campaign is now active and we're shown the ad groups within it. This is, of course, just this one that we named earlier. By default, all the eligible products in our feed are included in this ad group. When we hover over this ad group, we see how many products are eligible. We can also see how many are limited in their eligibility due to a policy concern, and how many Google is not allowing from our product feed because they're disapproved. And that's how we create Google Shopping campaigns in our Google Ads account. After you do this, you're going to need to learn how to segment your products in your Google Shopping campaign. We do this so that we can better target the products and optimize based on the performance of each one. I'll leave a link to our full tutorial on how to do this in your own campaign. Also, if you're already generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to take it to the next level, my team and I can help. We work every day with e-commerce stores, helping them to scale up to over 7 figures with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. Book a time down below and we'll chat and talk about how we can do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how to segment your products in your Google Shopping campaign. We segment our products in our Google Shopping campaigns so we can better target the products or the product groups. This helps us generate more sales and more profits by helping us better target who we're selling those products to. I'm going to show you how to segment your products and then the common ways that advertisers segment their products based on their objectives. Let's get into it. Let's go to this campaign we've just created and click it to view it at the ad group level. Now, we'll click into the ad group itself to show us the product group level. We see all products shown here as a product group. This contains everything in your feed. When we hover over it, we see how many products in it are eligible, limited, and not eligible. We have a video on how to fix all the issues that make your products ineligible or limited. I'll leave a link in the description to that video. Okay, so what we're going to do is subdivide this product group. I'll mouse over the all products here and Google will display a plus sign. Clicking it brings us here. Now we can sort through the products based on select information Google has from our feed. There are several ways that Google offers for dividing these products. This is all based on the information that's in your product data coming from Merchant Center. Category is the first one shown here. This is based on Google's own product category tree. Google will assign each of your products a category, but I must warn you that Google can often get this wrong. For that reason, I recommend that you never use this to segment your products. It's just not dependable. Brand will show us all the brands of products. This is a very common way to segment ad groups. It allows us to review the search terms and add other brands as negatives. For example, let's say you're selling Nike shoes. In this case, you may not want to show up for the searches that contain Reebok in them. Item IDs will show us every product because every product must have a unique item ID. Google also shows the title right after the item ID. This is helpful if you want to use this search function to find certain products. Condition simply divides the products based on if they're new, used, or refurbished. You may remember that product type is an optional field that Google gives us to create our own categories. That's very useful here because you can now use that to easily subdivide between your categories. Channel is for differentiating between local inventory and online. Channel exclusivity segments products by availability in one of the channels or both. We're not covering local ads in this course, but I'll include some links in the lesson brief further discussing this if you'd like to learn more. And finally, we have the custom labels. These, of course, were set up in the product feed or directly in Google Merchant Center. They're a fantastic way to further sort and segment your products. For example, let's say that you're selling t-shirts and you know that certain colors are more in demand than others. This allows you to have a custom label for colors. By subdividing the more popular colors out to their own product groups, you could make sure that they get higher bids. As another example, say that you've labeled in your feed which products are high margin and which products are low margin. You may want to segment out the low margin products so that you can bid lower on them than the rest of the products. There are limitless ways to use these custom labels for smart product segmentation. You'll need to think of the right way to do it for your own products. In the example I'm showing you here, we've added each product's price range to the custom label 0. So I'm going to subdivide this product group based on this field and check them all off to select them. I'm going to click Save without editing bids. We're back to the product group view now, and we see 5 product groups now. 4 for the labels we selected to subdivide by, and everything else in all products. Everything else means any product in the feed that has no custom label 0 matching the above. Let's say I want this ad group to only show products that use my labels. Then it's important that I click on this edit button here and set it to exclude. This way, nothing but my feed items that have a matching custom label 0 field will show an ad in this ad group. Finally, since we have this campaign set to manual bidding, I can show you how we might treat these product groups differently. For the product groups higher than $500, I may want to increase their bids so that I can give them more exposure. On the flip side, for my products under $150, I can lower my bid. Now, you can go further in subdividing each of these product groups you've just created as well. Let's click the plus button on this over $500 product group, and let's subdivide it by brand. So these are all the brands that are in our over $500 product group. Let's select all of them to segment them further and click here to save. Now, when we come back to this view, we can open this up and see our subdivided groups. The advantage here is that we can review the performance of each brand at this price point. This can be incredibly valuable data over time to work with. Okay guys, that's how we segment our product groups in our Google Shopping campaigns. It starts at the campaign level, then ad groups within the campaign, then product groups within the ad groups, and finally product groups within product groups. Google gives us the ability to structure our campaigns in this way because we know our products better than anybody. You can choose a structure and a way to segment, such as category, bestsellers, profit margins, attributes like color and size, price points, and so much more. As you saw, you'll then be able to see how each segment performs based on the metrics. This allows us to know what's better generating profits and then to make further optimizations. Now, take some time to think about how you should segment your products. Map it out on a piece of paper or in a Google Doc. Planning this properly is going to pay off for your campaigns in the months and years to come. Now that you've segmented your product groups, it's time to launch your shopping campaign. We have a full video showing exactly how we launch shopping campaigns with a full pre-launch checklist. I'll leave a link to that full tutorial down below. Also, if you're a store owner that's already generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, book a time with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale dozens of e-commerce stores every single month. I'll leave a link to our calendar down below. You can book a time with us and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your e-commerce store. In this video, you're going to learn everything you need to do before launching your Google Shopping campaign. I'm also going to give you my full campaign pre-launch checklist. This checklist includes everything that my team and I check before we launch Google Shopping campaigns for our clients. Campaigns that generate millions and millions of dollars in sales and profits. I'll leave a link to download that checklist below this video, but I'm also going to go through the different steps here right now. Here are the questions that you need to ask yourself before you're launching your shopping campaigns. What is my break-even ROAS? Your break-even ROAS guides your profitability goals. We also use this to guide Google on how to optimize our campaigns with our bidding strategy. Knowing this number tells you what ROAS you need on your shopping campaign in order to be profitable. It guides Google's algorithm and it also guides all your optimization. Next, is my website compliant? As we've seen, millions of Google Merchant Center accounts are suspended every single year. Many for simple little things that could have easily been prevented. Store owners come to my agency all the time with help for fixing their Google Merchant Center suspension, and let me tell you, they are stressed out. Now, we help them get their suspensions fixed, but wouldn't it be great if they didn't have to deal with the suspension in the first place? From your Contact Us page, all the way to your policies, all the way to your navigation setup. We have a full tutorial that takes you through how to make sure your website is compliant for Google Shopping. I'll leave a link to that video down below. Have I made a test purchase on my website? When running your e-commerce store, I can't think of anything worse than spending thousands of dollars on your ads only to find out your checkout isn't working. Yes, that happens, and that's why we include it here. Make sure that you fully tested out the full purchase flow that a buyer goes through to buy from your store. Everything from adding to checkout to the final confirmation page after they purchase. Make sure it all works perfectly before turning your campaigns live. Next, have I set up conversion tracking? This can be easy to miss if you're new to Google Ads. We don't run a single campaign for our clients until we know for sure that conversion tracking is set up properly. Not only is this crucial for telling us what to optimize, it also provides incredibly important data for Google so they can know who else to show your ads to. This helps them show your ads to the right customers, generating you more sales and more profits. Are my Google Merchant Center settings set up and correct? This includes everything we cover in our free Google Shopping course, such as your shipping and returns, sales taxes, your business information. Also make sure that your product feeds are set up and they're active. As well, fix issues. You wouldn't be able to set up a shopping campaign if your product feed wasn't set up. But what about your product data? Have you optimized your product feed? This is a crucial step for setting up and preparing your Google Shopping campaign for scaling. We also have a full tutorial on optimizing your product feed. I'll leave a link to that down below. Next thing we ask is, do I know what my competitors are doing right now? You should be doing deep market research into your competitors and any sellers in your space. You should know what they're advertising and their pricing compared to yours, what their product titles look like and any promotions they're running, and so on. This helps to make sure that our whole store and our funnel, including our ads, are as competitive as possible. Shoppers will always be comparing your store to your competitors. You want to make sure that you have the best shot at winning their business. And last but not least, do one more pass through of your Google Shopping campaign. Does your structure make sense? Are your audiences set up? Are you targeting the right locations? Okay, great. Now we're ready to go live with our campaign. Now, once your campaigns are live, you're then going to need to learn how to optimize them to get more sales and more profits as you scale them up. Also, if you're already generating 20K in sales per month and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, get in touch with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale up dozens of e-commerce stores every single month. Book a time with my team and I down below, and we can talk through how we'll do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how to set up custom columns in your Google Ads account for your Google Shopping campaigns. Doing this allows you to see the most important metrics for your campaigns. This makes it a lot easier to see what campaigns are generating sales and profits and then optimize them to get better results. Everything from the impressions, the clicks, the sales to the actual profitability. Google's default column setup doesn't tell us nearly enough, so I'm going to show you how to set up your custom columns and how we do it in this video. Let's get into it. Start in your campaigns view in Google Ads. If you don't see this section, you can click this button in the upper left to expand the menu. Okay, let's go to this option in your dashboard for modifying columns. This opens up your custom options here. Now we're going to open up all columns. Here you can see how Google has organized the available columns by their type. We'll be adding the performance columns first. We'll be organizing them in a way that makes better sense for e-commerce goals. As you can see, some performance metrics are already added. But for our purposes, the order of the columns doesn't really make sense. So we're going to start fresh by simply taking out all the columns. You can do this by going over here and hitting the X on each one. Note, I'm going to leave the campaign type alone as it's going to be our first column anyway. I'm going to explain the order of these columns that I'm recommending shortly. But in this order, I'm going to add impressions, clicks, click-through rate, shown as CTR, average cost per click, CPC, then cost. And now we want to scroll down to another column type called conversions. And we're going to add conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate, conversion value, which is our sales revenue, and conversion value over cost, which is our return on ad spend. Now click apply. Google will now keep this view for you anytime you're looking at this account. So let's look at the story that these columns tell us while set up in this order. The ads were seen this many times and clicked this many times at this percentage rate. It costs this much on average for each of these shoppers' clicks at a total of this ad spend. The results were this many orders for which we spent this much per order to generate. Shoppers turned into buyers at this rate, which brought us a total revenue of this much. All of this resulted in a profitability ratio of this many dollars returned on each dollar spent. Okay, that's how we set up custom columns in our Google Ads account for our Google Shopping campaigns. Now that you have these metrics at your fingertips, you're going to need to learn how to actually optimize your campaigns based on what you see here. Also, if you're already generating 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to take it to the next level, 7 figures and beyond, book a time with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale dozens of e-commerce stores every single month. We'd love to meet with you and talk through how we would do it for your e-commerce store. I'll leave a link to our calendar down below. In this video, you're going to learn how to optimize your Google Shopping campaigns. Here, you'll learn the strategies that we use to optimize and scale Google Shopping campaigns, generating thousands of dollars in sales and profits for our clients. We'll help you turn your shopping campaigns from this to this. First, we'll answer some important questions about optimizing and scaling. Then I'm going to show you how to optimize. Let's get into it. Okay, what is optimizing and why do we need to do it for our Google Shopping campaigns? It's important to remember that success in Google Shopping campaigns doesn't happen overnight. It also doesn't happen without you doing the work. The optimization process involves regularly looking at your data and performance. Then we make changes to move the campaign in the right direction. Imagine that you're a sculptor that's crafting a masterpiece. We make changes, step back, observe it from a distance. Then we might get in close again to make more changes. We keep doing this over time until we make more profits. This takes time and patience and requires a lot of experience, but you will get better over time. The goal for most e-commerce store owners is to just get it to a point where you can hire someone to take it over for you. Now, how long does it take to get results? This can depend on a large number of factors. The most important factor being the conversion rate for your store and the market demand for your products. Usually we find that Google Ads is a long-term game with consistent growth over time, what we call a sales generating machine. Imagine if you had a traffic source like this, just ticking over month by month, bringing in new sales every single month. Well, it does take work to build this, and that's what we're going to teach you here. In terms of a general timeline, here's what you can expect. It takes a few days to get your first impressions and your first clicks to trickle through. Usually you'll start getting conversions within at least the first 2 weeks. And usually we break even within the first 2 months and are making profits, but often it's sooner than that. Then it's about balancing the total sales with the profitability of those sales as we scale over time with smart optimizations. Every account is different, but as long as you keep at it and make the right decisions, you're going to be moving in the right direction. Okay, I'm now going to go over the optimizations we're going to make. For each of these, we have a deeper tutorial that goes into much more detail on how to execute each optimization. I'll leave a link to the links to those tutorials down below this video. Let's get into them right now. The first one is your campaign bidding strategy. This is the actual bidding setting on your campaign. So many people get this wrong, it's insane. You need to give Google the right goal and direction at the start, especially when you have no conversion data. There are different bidding strategies for different situations. You have manual bidding, maximize clicks, and target ROAS. Each one has a different use case, and it's important that you choose the right one depending on the state of your account right now. So there's a lot to go in here on bidding strategies, and that's why we have a full tutorial on bidding strategies. I'll leave a link to that down below. Next, we have negative keywords. Adding negative keywords to your shopping campaigns means that you're telling Google what not to show your ads for. For example, we may start our shopping campaigns and find out certain information. For example, maybe the algorithm has got a bit stuck and we're showing our ads for people searching for power drill toys when we just sell power drills. So we add toy as a negative keyword to stop this from happening. We find these search terms by looking at the search terms report of our Google Shopping campaign. Again, there's a lot of strategy that goes into this. I go into a lot more detail on this in my video about adding negative keywords to Google Shopping campaigns. I'll leave a link to that video down below. Last, but definitely not least, we have optimizing our product feed and our product data. This is by far the most useful and often the most forgotten tactic to optimizing your Google Shopping campaigns. It means adjusting the product attributes in your product feed based on what people are searching for and what people are buying. It helps to guide the Google algorithm to show for more and more customers that are going to buy your products. Most people just set up their Google Merchant Center account and don't even take care of their feed. I have a deep dive tutorial on how to optimize your product data and your product feed. I'll leave a link to that down below. This really is the foundation of a profitable and scalable Google Shopping campaign. Okay, so how often do I need to do my optimizations? Knowing what to optimize is one thing, but knowing when to optimize is another. We have a full tutorial on when to optimize your Google Shopping campaigns. It comes with a checklist and a schedule so you know what to optimize and when to optimize, daily, weekly, and monthly. I'll leave a link to that tutorial down below. Go and get that checklist and that schedule for your store. All right, guys, that's how we optimize Google Shopping campaigns. I know I mentioned quite a few other tutorials to go and do a deep dive into. Take a look at those down below in the description. Also, if you're already generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures or above, book a time with my team and I. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale stores above 7 figures. I'll leave a link to our calendar down below. You can book a time with my team and I, and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn what bidding strategy to use for your Google Shopping campaign. Learning which bidding strategy to use for your Google Shopping campaign is one of the biggest factors affecting your sales and your profits. I'm going to teach you the advantages and disadvantages of each bidding method. I'll also show you which one you should use for your campaigns depending on your situation. If you're not sure what bidding means in Google Ads, here's an explanation of how the Google auction works. Basically, Google works on a pay-per-click model. This means that Google will show your products to people searching on Google and charge you per click for each visitor that clicks your ads. Your bidding strategy is your way to tell Google how to show your ads. It also tells them how much you want to pay per click. You might really care about profits, so you tell Google using a target ROAS strategy that you want to hit a target ROAS of 4. Google will then try to fulfill this goal, a target ROAS of 4, by showing to people that's going to achieve that target ROAS of 4 for your campaign. Maybe you just care about getting a really high volume of clicks. In this case, you would use the maximize clicks bidding strategy. Then Google will show your ads to as many people as possible to get as many clicks as possible, even if they're not going to buy. If you want to go deeper and learn how the Google Ads auction works, then I recommend checking out our full tutorial, How Google Shopping Works. I'll leave a link to that down below. Okay, so we have 3 bidding strategies that we can use in our Google Shopping campaigns. The first 2, maximize clicks and target ROAS, are automated bidding strategies. These lean on Google to use their machine learning and mountains of data to assist in the bidding. This can be good and bad, as we'll learn soon. It can lead to reaching people we would have never otherwise reached, meaning more sales, but it can also cost us quite a lot more, especially in the beginning. This is because the algorithm is trying to learn who our customers are. Let's talk about the target ROAS bidding strategy. With this method, Google will alter your bid each time your product is eligible to be shown. It does this in order to achieve a specific ROAS target. This is a great strategy if your goal is profitability and you have a lot of existing conversions in your account already. For example, let's say that your break-even ROAS is 2.5. You can tell Google to aim for a ROAS of 3 to make sure that you're profitable but also get a higher volume of sales.
Before we get back into the video, I want to share something that could really help you. We've built a private community called the KeyCom Academy. It's specifically designed for honest e-com store owners that are running ads or planning to run ads. If you're looking for clearer guidance, better support, and better strategies, this community is for you. Inside, you'll find step-by-step courses, weekly coaching calls, a supportive community, and one-on-one coaching calls to help you get unstuck. We've seen that when store owners have the right support and the right strategies, things can take off fast. In fact, the majority of our members see a real improvement in their sales and their return on ad spend in the first 30 days. If you're serious about growing your store, check the link below, and I'd love to see you on the inside.
We love using the target ROAS bidding strategy, but it does require having conversion data in your account already. Google needs to know who your customers are so they can show to the right people to achieve this goal. That's why we usually start our campaigns with a manual bidding strategy. We then manage the bids manually until we have 50 to 100 conversions per month. After this, we switch over to a target ROAS strategy. Keep in mind that when you use the target ROAS strategy, it can be quite sensitive to any changes that you make to the target ROAS goal. Don't make any changes before any big events like Black Friday or holidays. This sends your campaign into learning mode, which can really tank your performance as Google optimizes for this new goal. Target ROAS is a great strategy overall, but just make sure you have conversions first. Otherwise, you'll just end up spending a lot on your ads while Google tries to figure out who your customers are by showing to random people. It's more efficient to just start with manual CPC and later swap to target ROAS. Plus, you'll save more money too. The next bidding strategy we have is the infamous maximize clicks. This bidding strategy sets your bids to get as many clicks as possible within your daily budget. Let that sink in for a second. As many clicks as possible for your daily budget. You might have realized the problem with this strategy. Just because you're getting a lot of clicks, it doesn't mean that those clicks are quality. Google is just going to see your budget, say $50 a day, and stuff it with as many cheap clicks as it possibly can. The problem is that most of the best clicks, the ones that are going to convert, are actually more expensive. This is because other advertisers know this and they're also bidding to get those clicks. This means that with the maximize click strategy, Google might avoid these other clicks that are better, that might convert, and get you the cheapest clicks, which no one else wants. Having thousands of visitors to your website means nothing if they're not going to buy anything. So you could end up spending all this money, getting all this traffic, and don't actually teach the Google Ads algorithm anything about who your customers are. For now, just know that for almost all stores, we don't recommend starting off your Google Shopping campaign with a maximize click strategy if you have no data in your account. And that leaves us with the final bidding strategy, manual CPC. This is simple. When you set your own maximum cost per click for your ads, you can do this at the campaign level, the ad group level, or the product group level. While Google focuses a lot on getting us to use the automated bidding strategies, using manual bidding can make a lot of sense. You know your products best, you know which ones you want to promote the most, and you know what your margins are. We have a full video on how to do manual bidding and how to calculate the bids that you should pay per product. I'll leave a link to that tutorial down below. Just know that you have to stay on top of your bids. Make sure that you always review your performance several times a week, if not daily. They are the 3 bidding strategies that Google allows for Google Shopping campaigns. Also, if you're generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, my team and I can help. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale up dozens of e-commerce stores every month. Book a time with my team and I down below and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how to set bidding adjustments for your Google Shopping campaigns. Maybe your products sell better on a Sunday, or maybe shoppers in certain cities convert higher. Bidding adjustments allow us to tell Google to bid higher or lower based on these variables. This allows us to get much more granular with how much we pay for our traffic. This is a key part of optimizing our Google Shopping campaigns to generate more profits. I'm going to show you exactly how we do it for our own accounts and our own clients. There are 3 ways to adjust our bids: by time, by location, and by audience. I'm going to start with time and show you a feature that not many store owners actually know about or use in their dashboard. Okay, so here we have a simple campaign with very simple data and metrics in it. I'm going to go to this segment button right here. Note how many segments there are here to check by. We're just going to look at time for now. So we can check by hour of the day to see how your campaigns have performed. Of course, 0 means midnight, 1 means 1 a.m., all the way to 23, meaning 11 p.m. here. We want to study this data as it accumulates over time in our campaigns. Now, you've got to be very careful and have a lot of data that you can analyze through. We're just using this as an example to simply show that we've generated no conversions here between midnight and 1 a.m. We see the same thing for 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. and so on. Now, let's look at the other time segment option here, which is day of the week. So if we go here, we'll see how our campaigns have performed on days of the week. And we see here that we've never made a sale on a Sunday. Once again, as a disclaimer, you should not make decisions until you have enough data. This is just example data. But if we did see this and it was enough data, we'd see that we've got very poor performance on Sundays. This means we might want to make an adjustment to our bids at that time. The way that we'll do this is on the menu on this side. We're going to go to Audiences, Keywords, and Content here. Then we'll go to Add Schedule. Here, you want to click Edit Add Schedule. There are a few ways to do this that are pretty self-explanatory once you're here. You can just choose just weekdays or just the weekends, or you can choose individual days. So here, I'm going to choose Sundays because I know I want to adjust that. Then I'm going to add Mondays to Fridays and also Saturdays to be covered. Any days or times that I leave out will not get advertising, so I want to be very careful. Now that these are added in a way that makes sense for me, I'm going to save this. Then I'm going to go to Sunday here and do a bid adjustment. I'll select decrease here if we want to lower it. And let's say we didn't want to advertise at all during a Sunday, we would set it to 100%. Or if we wanted to do a more modest 20% decrease, we would enter that and save. We now see this adjustment visually indicated here. And that's how you would alter this by the days. Now, of course, you can also alter your ad scheduling by the time of the day. So if I only wanted to show from 7 a.m. to maybe 7 p.m. on all days, I would save it like this. And now we see that outside of that time, on all the days of the week, we're not showing ads, but within these times of the day, we will be. We won't have any data yet because we've still just set this as an ad schedule. However, going forward, it will accumulate the data for us. And perhaps we'll come to learn that Thursdays are our best day. If so, we might want to increase bids by 10% right here to give our ads a little boost. Okay, now let's look at bid adjustments by location. We're starting on the campaign page. You'll want to expand the audiences, keywords, and content here if it isn't already. I recommend that you look at this data often to stay on top of how you're faring in different regions. At this view, we just see the country level, and we're only targeting the US with this campaign. So I'm going to click into this, and it's going to ask me what I want to narrow it down by. You'll see all the different options that you can narrow it down by. Let's just keep it simple and go by states. Now, you'll get a data breakdown for how this campaign has performed by each state. You can see that we've already excluded Illinois previously. Let's be simple here and say our measurement for success is just how many sales we've made. By this measure, I see that Alaska has generated no sales. So we don't want to have Alaska showing anymore. Or maybe we just want to show fewer ads in Alaska. Well, that's what the bid adjustments are for. Let's select Alaska as a target and choose this option. Add targets and set bid adjustments. I'm going to go ahead and decrease it by 50% and now hit apply. Okay, we see here that we've now set Alaska for a minus 50% bid adjustment. Now let's talk about the final attribute that we can set a bid adjustment for in our Google Shopping campaign. We go from here, the campaign view, and we'll open up the audiences, keywords, and the content section again, and then go to audiences. It will show us our audience segments that we have when we open up this table. We see our audience segments that are being tracked according to their performance. For this example, we see that home decor enthusiasts has not done well as an audience. Therefore, we don't want to put as much into the bids as we do for the rest of the audiences. So we'll set this to our ad group view for the bid adjustment. Then we'll select the home decor enthusiasts and click edit. Then we'll decrease this by, let's say, 35%. And that's how we do bidding optimizations for our Google Shopping campaigns.
Before we get back into the video, I want to share something that could really help you. We've built a private community called the KeyCom Academy. It's specifically designed for honest e-com store owners that are running ads or planning to run ads. If you're looking for clearer guidance, better support, and better strategies, this community is for you. Inside, you'll find step-by-step courses, weekly coaching calls, a supportive community, and one-on-one coaching calls to help you get unstuck. We've seen that when store owners have the right support and the right strategies, things can take off fast. In fact, the majority of our members see a real improvement in their sales and their return on ad spend in the first 30 days. If you're serious about growing your store, check the link below, and I'd love to see you on the inside.
In this video, you're going to learn how to add negative keywords to your Google Shopping campaigns. Adding negative keywords is one of the core ways to optimize your Google Shopping campaigns and to get more sales and more profits. We do this to tell Google not to show our ads when a shopper uses certain words in their search. I'm going to talk about why you want to add negative keywords, how to do it, and then I'm going to share with you the best way to find which negative keywords to add. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why we add negative keywords. When we create a Google Shopping campaign, we don't get to set up which keywords we actually want to target. Google shows our shopping ads based on the product data in our product feed. If Google thinks our product is relevant to the search, it's going to show our ad. Google can, and certainly will, make mistakes when showing our ads to different people. Adding negative keywords is our tool to prevent this as much as possible. For example, let's say you're selling a basic wooden chair. You wouldn't want to show your ad for searches that include things like plastic, metal, or upholstered. Now, this isn't to say that you can't get a sale from people that use these search queries, but it is much less likely. When you're just getting started with your Google Shopping campaigns, you want to focus on getting clicks from shoppers who are more likely to convert into a sale. We don't want to leave it all to Google's optimization algorithms. These can burn through our budget unnecessarily, and that's what negative keywords are for. Now, let's walk through the process for adding negative keywords. You can add them at the account level, the campaign level, or the ad group level. I'm going to talk about the account level first and show you how to add them there. Account level negative keywords cover all the campaigns that are in your account. That means that you'll want to be very careful about what you add at the account level as a negative keyword. For example, let's say that you sell guitars, but you don't sell any Gibson brand name guitars. You may be tempted to put that word Gibson as a negative keyword at the account level. There would be two issues with that. Firstly, some people might be searching for best alternative to Gibson guitars. In this case, you might have a great product or content for them. Second, you might be selling Gibson guitars sometime in the future. You don't want to have to remember that you added this negative keyword at the account level some time ago. With that warning given, there are many times where an account level negative keyword is the way to go. Let's say that you find a lot of people searching for toy guitar that's triggering your ads, or how to make your own guitar. You know that your store will never really have good probability or enough conversions from these customers. So an account level negative keyword is perfect. Let me show you how to do it. Starting in your Google Ads account, go to the admin on the left here. Then go to account settings, and here for the full account, you'll see the negative keywords. Simply enter your negatives each on a new line, and then click Save. Now, did you notice what I did when adding those negatives? I added quotes around them which turn them into phrase match negatives. It's very important to know about match types and how they affect the logic of negatives blocking search queries. Match types affect the logic of how Google blocks search terms from showing your ads. There are 3 types of negative keyword match types: broad, phrase, and exact. Broad is just where you add the negative keyword as is. For example, let's use red shoes. If you add red shoes as a negative broad match keyword, any search query containing red and shoes will not trigger your ad. So if someone searches for where to buy shoes that are red online, your ads won't be shown. To set your negative keyword as a broad match, you just enter it in the box here as is, with no special characters enclosing it. A phrase match keyword such as quotation mark red shoes quotation mark will only prevent your ad being shown if you have red shoes as an intact phrase. So your ad will still show for search queries such as buy shoes red, but it won't show for buy red shoes. Finally, exact match is much more straightforward. If you enclose red shoes in square brackets like this, then only an exact search of red shoes will be blocked. Buy red shoes or even red shoe will still trigger your ads for showing in the results. We recommend using a mix of these match types depending on the query that you're trying to stop. For example, if we're adding a negative keyword for a product group that just has white shoes, of course, we'd add a phrase match negative keyword for red so we don't show for any search queries that have red in them. I'll show you an example of how we can use all three match types while I walk through how to set up negatives at the campaign and ad group level. Okay, let's say you're selling a product like this. It's got a bear with some bear prints as its design and it's a welcome mat. So go into your shopping campaign that you're selling it from. Then specifically go into the ad group that it's in. You want to open up Insights and Reports if it's not already open and go to Search Terms. Now, you're reviewing search terms based on the time frame that you've set up. You can see here that you've got a lot of terms that Google thought might be relevant to this product, but aren't very qualified. Again, when I say qualified, I mean search terms that show a good probability that the shopper is looking for this type of product and not something else. So the search term bear print. Certainly, this is a relevant search, but it isn't quite what I'd call qualified. We probably want the shopper to be searching for an actual mat. So we could add this as a negative keyword, either at the ad group level or the campaign level, or a negative keyword list. For this negative, we're just going to add it at the ad group level here, and we'll keep it as a default match type that Google assigned here, which is exact match negative. So I'm telling Google that when a search term is the words bear print, I don't want to bid to have my ad shown. It's simply too general of a term and has a low probability of converting to a sale for my welcome mat. So we're going to save, and that has now been excluded at the ad group level. Now we see here for bear tracks in mud. That's definitely not qualified for our product. So I'm going to click that and add it as a negative. But I'm going to add just mud as a phrase match. This is because most searches with the word mud in them are likely to have to do with coming across bear tracks in the wild or hunting bears or something like that. Again, this is not relevant to our product. Shopping campaigns are best directed at people who use the product type, in this case a mat or a rug, in the search query. And now we see here, picture of a bear print. Well, we see these kinds of words all the time in unqualified searches for e-commerce. So I'm going to add this, but I'm going to add the word picture as a broad match negative. We're not selling photos or prints for a wall or illustrations, so I'm going to put picture as a broad match and hope that it takes care of any variations of that word. So that's how we use the three different types of negative match types that we can use to better filter the search traffic we show ads for. Now, I mentioned that I see the word picture all the time in search queries in e-commerce. These words are common in search queries when people seem to be researching or looking for images for inspiration. There are a ton of words that my team and I have seen time and time again that highly indicate a low probability of a person purchasing from an e-commerce store. For most new campaigns, we'll add a pre-existing list of negative keywords to the campaign as we launch it. This list has a bunch of phrase match negative keywords such as free or stores near me that we'll add as a list. I'm going to give a link to my common list of negative keywords down below so you can download that, access it, and add it to your campaigns from the get-go. Okay, so that's how we add negative keywords to our Google Shopping campaigns. Also, if you're already generating over 20K per month in sales and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, my team and I can help. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale dozens of e-commerce stores every single month. Book a time with my team and I down below and we'll show you how we'll do this for your store.
In this video, you're going to learn how to optimize your Google Shopping campaigns. I'm going to teach you what and when to optimize for your Google Shopping campaign to generate more sales and more profits for your e-commerce store. I'm giving you the full checklist that my team and I use every single day, week, and month to optimize Google Shopping campaigns for our clients. Check below this video to get access to the full checklist and schedule that we'll be using in this video. Keep in mind that all the time periods that I mention in this guide are really just a guide.
You should be optimizing your account when it needs it. These time periods work well for a new account that has a modest budget. However, if you're spending, say, $1,000 a day or more, you're going to need much more frequent work, mainly because you'll have much more data to guide you. Okay, let's get into it. First, daily checks. Here are the 4 essential checks that we do on a daily basis in the account. First, we check our Google Merchant Center Next account. The biggest concern is a suspension, the notification of which you'll see a big red bar at the top of your dashboard. If you see this, don't panic. Yes, it's bad, and your Google Shopping campaigns will no longer work. But Google suspends millions of accounts every single year, and many store owners can get it fixed. I'll leave some links down below with some resources on how to fix it. My team and I, we actually fix suspensions for our clients. You can get in touch with us as well, and we can fix it with a guarantee. Time is of the essence with fixing your suspensions, so never miss a day to check your Google Merchant Center Next account. The second thing we want to check is the status of our products in Google Merchant Center Next. We are looking for any disapprovals, which are indicated by a red exclamation mark, or warnings, which are orange exclamation marks in triangles. Disapprovals on products are most serious, as it means that these products won't show in our Google Shopping campaigns. Just head to the Needs Attention tab under Products to review if there are any issues. Now, we have a full tutorial on how to fix product disapprovals. I'll leave a link to that video down below. Alright, the third thing we need to check each day is in our Google Ads account, and it's our billing issues. Credit card failures and many other billing issues can happen, and this can stop your ads from running. The result of this can be extremely disruptive for the growth of your campaign. It's definitely worth a daily check. And the final thing we want to check is if our campaigns are actually getting impressions. There are many things that can stop a campaign dead in its tracks, and sometimes you won't receive a Google notification for it.
Go to your Google Ads campaign dashboard and make sure that you're looking at impressions and clicks. You can look at the past 30 days, or you can look at the past 7 days. You're looking for anything unusual in the graph. I also like to take a look at the cost and conversions on a daily basis and see if there are any anomalies. Anything out of the order triggers us to look deeper into it and find a solution. Keep in mind that there's always going to be variance in the data, but seeing an unusual break in the pattern can be an early red flag that saves your campaign and your sales.
As you can see, these daily checks are basically to see if anything drastic has gone wrong in your account. Now we'll look at the weekly optimizations, which are more about improving the results. We'll often do some of these daily, like negative keyword mining, but weekly is a good minimum. Okay, here's what we do on a weekly basis. Bidding adjustments, negative keyword mining, search impression share. The first thing we do, especially with a new campaign, is our bidding adjustments. Whether you're going with manual or an automated bidding strategy, you want to assess your campaign based on 2 factors: how much revenue you've generated and how much profit. Based on weekly performance, you can make changes to your campaign to keep moving it in the right direction. Note that some low volume accounts may need more than a week's worth of data to make statistically significant decisions with your optimizations. We have a full guide on how to do optimizations with a manual bidding strategy. I'll leave a link to that down below. It's quite a long process to explain and take you through, and we provide a full template on how to do it, so go and check out that video. The next thing we need to do is our negative keyword mining. This means we'll be combing through our search terms report. This can be found by going to your campaign, going to Insights and Reports, and then Search Terms. Find irrelevant words and search terms that you can block your ads for showing for. Search terms that include these words are less likely to get conversions, so we don't want to pay for these clicks and destroy our profit. This is one of the key ways for scaling our campaigns and generating more profits from them. We have a full guide on negative keywords for Google Shopping, and I'll leave a link to that down below. The last thing we do on a weekly basis is to check our search impression share. This is a metric on the campaign level that shows us what percentage of the available search impressions did we show for. If our budget is capped, but the campaign is profitable, this means that we could increase the budgets and get more sales and more profits for our shopping campaign.
We can find this by going to our campaign dashboard. We want to add data columns by going to Modify Columns, scrolling down to Competitive Metrics, and adding in Search Impression Share, Search Lost IS Rank, and Search Lost IS Budget. The first one, Search Impression Share, tells us how much we're capable of expanding our advertising based on our current setup. We're only covering just shy of 30% of what we can. Next, Search Lost IS by Rank tells us how often we're not showing our ads due to something called ad rank.
This tells us we can do better at optimizing our product data and our product pages. And finally, search loss IS by budget tells us how much our current budget cap may be holding us back from showing our ads. The lower the percent, the better here. Please keep in mind that when you're in the initial first few weeks of starting a Google Shopping campaign, Google is still figuring out what your products are and who to show them to. So these metrics aren't terribly useful in this initial launch phase. That's because it's based on your percentage of eligible impressions. If Google doesn't know what your products really are, then how can it know what your potential searches could be? So don't get caught up in this weekly task of checking the search impressions share until your campaign is humming along and getting results. That's when you'll want to consider increasing your budget to scale your campaign. Okay, let's now look at what we do on a monthly basis. Product data optimizations and location and time of day bidding adjustments. First, the most important thing is optimizing our product data in our product feed. As we learn more about how shoppers search and then buy our products, we're going to update our feed based on this information. This is quite an involved process, and that's why we have a full guided tutorial on doing product feed optimizations. I'll leave a link to that tutorial down below. Go and check it out. We also want to see if we can make any other improvements to the performance of our campaign with secondary bidding adjustments. This means checking whether the shopper's time of day and location significantly affects the profitability of our campaigns. A lot of good stuff to go in here. I'll leave a link to our tutorial on doing bidding adjustments down below. Okay, that's what we do on a monthly basis. On a quarterly basis, though, we look at our campaigns on a more macro level. We want to step back and look at other things that are going to help our campaigns. Specifically, those things that require more data or changes in other areas. We do this to really see potential valuable improvements. Here, we like to play around with the time periods, metrics we're looking at, and look for any trends or seasonality. We'll also take a look at the time of the year and other Google Analytics data. We'll look for any trends and changes in things like bounce rates and conversion rates. You never want to just focus your optimizations on just your Google Ads account. You should be continuously testing, optimizing, and improving your website to improve your conversion rates. Okay, so that's what we do and when we do it to optimize our Google Shopping campaigns. Also, if you're already generating 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, my team and I can help. We use Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale dozens of e-commerce stores every single month. Book a time with my team and I down below and we'll show you how we'll do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn what to do if your Google Shopping campaign isn't getting any impressions or clicks. You've spent all this time getting your Google Shopping campaign set up and you're seeing this. 0 clicks, 0 impressions. Don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly what to do when this happens so you can get your shopping campaigns working again, generating sales and generating profits for your e-commerce store. Let's get into it. Okay, so your campaign has no impressions and therefore no clicks. Here's what we'll look at fixing in order. First, how long has it been since you published your campaign? Make sure it's at least 24 hours. It takes time after you launch your campaign for Google to index your feed and to start showing it to people. If you want to speed things up, you can try increasing your bids to $1.50 to $3 per click. You will spend a bit more money than you need to, but it will speed things up. After 2 to 3 days, check to see if you're at least getting impressions. If still no impressions after the next 3 days, proceed to the next fixes. Next, let's double check that your campaign is live. You can check if this little icon here is green, or if you want to be extra sure, you can click this cog icon. Here, you can view the campaign settings and look to see if the campaign status is enabled. Additionally, you can look into the ad groups to also see if the ad groups are enabled. The next thing we want to check if there are any issues with your billing or your account status. You would see a big red banner at the top of your Google Ads account if there is an issue. It should include a link to a guide that shows you how to fix the issue. The most frequent reason we see for issues in the account like this is if your credit card has insufficient funds. Google immediately halts your account activity when this happens. I strongly recommend setting up a secondary credit card in your account to prevent this from happening in the future. Next, make sure that your Google Merchant Center Next account is connected to your Google Ads account. I'll show you how to check this right now. Starting in your Google Ads dashboard, go to Tools and then to Data Manager. And here you should see the connected products. Your Google Merchant Center account should be listed here and showing as linked. Even if it is, click it and see if the Merchant Center account ID shown here matches the same ID of your Merchant Center account. If you see any problems here, go set up the link again. We have a clear and simple walkthrough on how to link your Google Merchant Center Next account to your Google Ads account. I'll leave a link to that tutorial down below. The next thing we want to check that there are no issues in our Google Merchant Center Next account. Open up your account and look for any issues that present at the top of the dashboard. It should look something like this. You'll have to go and fix these issues before you can get your shopping campaigns running. If there's a Google Merchant Center suspension, we have some videos on how to fix this. I'll leave a link down below. We actually also do this for our clients with a full guarantee. You can get in touch with us on our website. Also, check if you have any product disapprovals. You'll find these under the Products, Needs Attention tab, and then scrolling down. If a product is disapproved, it won't show in your Google Shopping campaign. So if all your products are disapproved, you won't get any impressions. This is because no products are eligible to show. Go through and fix all of these product disapprovals. We have a full video on how to do this. I'll leave a link to that down below. The next thing that you need to check are your Google Shopping campaign settings. You'll have set these up when you created your campaign, but if you didn't do it properly, it could cause your shopping campaign to not show. A common example is your location targeting. If you set your targeting to a tiny town in the middle of nowhere, then there's a clear reason why you won't get any impressions. There's just not many people there searching. Now go through and check these campaign settings and do it while you go through our campaign setup video. We have a full video on how to set up your Google Shopping campaigns, all the campaign settings. I'll leave a link to that down below. The next thing to check is your bidding. If you set your manual bids way too low, then you won't get an ad rank high enough to show or get any impressions. Usually I set my bid for new campaigns at about $1. Or if you're using an automated bidding strategy like Target ROAS, your goal may be a bit too ambitious for the algorithm. It wants to hit your goal, but without history in the account, Google doesn't know how to hit it. I recommend reducing your target ROAS to be a bit more reasonable or switch to a manual bidding strategy. If you increase your bids with manual bidding, it's going to tell Google to be a bit more aggressive with showing your products. This is going to show your ads for higher positions and result in more clicks. Yes, it means paying more for these clicks at the start, but you'll get data from this and ideally conversions, which is going to feed the algorithm, which is going to be better for you in the long run. Next, make sure that you don't have any unnecessary negative keywords. You use negative keywords to tell Google not to show your ads for certain search queries. Now, where this can go wrong is that you may add a negative keyword accidentally that actually stops you from getting relevant traffic. This can restrict your campaigns and stop you from getting impressions or enough clicks. At the start, I don't recommend adding many negative keywords. Just let Google show your products on its network and get some initial data. This, of course, is only if you've already optimized your product feed, which you should have already done. If not, check out our full tutorial on how to optimize your product data and your product feed. I'll leave a link to that down below. If you do have negative keywords at the campaign level, they could be stopping you from getting impressions. I suggest removing them and seeing if that improves the impressions. Next, we want to remove any bidding adjustments. Bidding adjustments are edits that you make to your bids based on things like time of day, location, and demographic information. Now, we have a full video on how to use these for a Google Shopping campaign to optimize and get more profits, but when you're starting your campaign, I don't recommend you use them. It's too early to optimize and restrict the potential clicks, so take them off. You'll find these under Audiences, Keywords, and Content section on the left-hand menu. Make sure you don't have anything in these settings to avoid any restrictions. Lastly, if you're still not getting any impressions after a week, I recommend starting a new campaign from scratch. There may be some sort of adjustment or setting that is restricting your campaigns, and it might just be better to just start from scratch and follow our tutorial on setting up your shopping campaign settings. Now, I'll leave a link to that down below. Go and check it out. Follow it as you create your new campaign. Okay, that's everything to check if you're not getting impressions. What if you're getting impressions, but you're just not getting clicks? The fact that you're getting impressions shows that your product feed is working and it is connected into Google Ads, but it just means that you're not showing enough to get enough clicks. Basically, you just need to make sure that nothing is restricting your ads for showing for their full potential and make sure that you're bidding high enough to get a high enough ad rank to get enough clicks. Just like with impressions, it takes time for Google to figure out what your products are and who to show them to in order to build up the amount of clicks. At the same time, we can encourage the algorithm by increasing our bids, which is going to increase our ad rank, show for higher up on the Google Shopping page, and get more clicks. For now, just keep in mind that if you have a low number of impressions, that's okay. Just keep building them up. You can't expect to have a high number of clicks if you still have a low number of impressions. So focus on the impressions first and then the clicks. Next thing we want to do is make sure that our product data and our product feed is optimized. Optimizing your product data in your product feed in Google Merchant Center Next is one of the most important things for optimizing and scaling your Google Shopping campaigns. It's also one of the most forgotten. If you don't optimize your product data, then it's a lot harder for Google to know what you're actually selling and to show it to the right people. This means it's going to take a lot longer for Google to build up the data, the clicks, the impressions, and to know who else to show your products to. If your product data and your product feed isn't optimized, or you don't know if it is or not, go and check out our full tutorial on how to optimize your product feed and your product data in your Google Merchant Center account. I'll leave a link to that tutorial down below. The next thing that drives clicks to your campaign is your ad rank. There's a lot to go into here, but the best thing you can do is watch our video on how Google Shopping works. It goes deep into the algorithm and ad ranking, and why bids drive impressions and clicks for your campaign. Go into your campaign settings right now and check what bidding strategy you've selected. If you select anything except for manual CPC, it is going to take longer for you to get impressions and clicks when you start your campaign. This is because the other strategies are automated strategies, meaning Google will use its data to plan who to show your ads to. If it's a new campaign with 0 clicks, Google doesn't really know who to show your products to. So it's going to start showing products to a more general group of people that may be less interested in your products. Do yourself a favor, start with manual bidding, get to 50 to 100 conversions per month, and then consider swapping over to a target ROAS bidding strategy. Once you've confirmed that you're using a manual bidding strategy, then check if you're bidding high enough. Just like with getting impressions, I'll set my bids for around $1, maybe up to $2 depending on the industry. I'll then let it run for a few days and see how many impressions and clicks I get. If I'm still not getting clicks after 3 to 7 days, I'll then increase my bids further. You're basically giving a kick to Google to show your products to more people, getting you more clicks and more data. Keep in mind that you can always reduce your bids later once you're getting more clicks and more sales. Next, I want to talk about audience targeting. This is a rare mistake, but it can happen. In your campaign dashboard, under Audiences, Keywords, and Content, go to your Audience section and look at your audiences. You'll see here under Targeting Settings, it should be set to Observation. If it's set to targeting, then you'll need to click Edit Audience Segments and change it from targeting to observation. Targeting is where you tell Google to only show for this audience. This might be a useful setting when you're remarketing to a specific list or you just want to target a specific demographic. For new campaigns and for most e-commerce stores, you don't want to do this on your first campaign. You want your campaign to have the freedom to show for everybody as long as you've optimized your product data and your product feed. So make sure there's nothing in this section that could severely limit your campaign and the clicks you're going to get. That's it, guys. That's what we do when we're not getting impressions or clicks on our Google Shopping campaigns. Now, if you're getting clicks but you're not getting enough sales, go and check out our other video on what to do if you're not getting sales in your Google Shopping campaign. And if you're currently generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want help scaling to 7 figures and beyond, my team and I can help. We scale e-commerce stores with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. I'll leave a link to our calendar down below. You can book a time and we'll talk through how we'll do this for your store. Thanks for. Hey guys, Sam here from KeyCommerce.com. In this video, you're going to learn what to do if your Google Shopping campaigns are not getting enough sales. You've spent all this time trying to set up and optimize your Google Shopping campaigns, but they're just not getting enough sales. I'm going to go over the 3 main reasons why this can happen. Let's get into it. The first reason why you might not be getting enough sales with your Google Shopping campaigns might be because you're getting low quality traffic. This is when visitors are getting to your store, but they're either leaving straight away or they're just not making a purchase. If you think this is happening, first, check how many visitors you're getting. If it's less than 500, then that's not enough data to panic about yet. Focus on getting more clicks, more traffic before you go through the rest of this lesson. Now, if you are getting a lot of clicks but still no conversions, the first thing you want to check is the quality of your traffic. For example, if you're selling basketballs, then you want to check your search terms report to make sure that people are searching for relevant searches such as buy basketballs online. If you check your search terms report and it's filled with things like basketball tickets, then no wonder you're not getting sales. The traffic quality is low. These aren't the search terms of people looking to buy your product. So how and why did this happen? Sometimes, especially for new campaigns, Google gets it wrong. You see, you don't get to choose which keywords or search queries your Google Shopping campaigns show for. Google looks at your product data in your product feed to try to figure out what you're selling. Then they show their products to a lot of different people and watch how those people behave by clicking or converting on your ads. Sometimes this process takes time for Google to figure out who to show your products to. Our job is to guide the algorithm and that traffic to help Google do this as quickly as possible. Okay, so how do you check if you're getting high quality traffic or not? Check the search terms report of your Google Shopping campaign. You'll find it under Insights and Reports on the left menu in Google Ads. Make sure that you set the date range to a significant amount of time. Then review these search queries for any search queries that aren't relevant to the products that you're selling. Often you'll find words here that you'll want to add as negative keywords. This will prevent our ads from showing for these searches. Now, another reason for not getting sales in your Google Shopping campaign is when people are just not adding your products to their cart. You do this by looking at how many people add your products to their cart and their add to cart ratio. It differs depending on the store, but usually we see this in the 3 to 10% range. How do you view your own add to cart rate? In Shopify, go to your online store conversion over time report. It will show you the total number of online sessions for your store for any time frame and the number of sessions where that shopper added a product to cart. Simply divide the add to cart sessions by the total sessions to get your add to cart rate. If you're getting less than 3 to 5%, then you have a lot to improve on your product page. Here are the common things that we see in this case. Number one, most easy, your add to cart button isn't working. Make sure that your products aren't set to out of stock. Make sure that people can actually click the button to add to cart. There may be a variety of design issues that are preventing people from adding to cart, such as a design issue, geographic restrictions, or any other technical problem. This is why it's so important to always do a test purchase on your store before launching. You should do this both on desktop and on a mobile device to make sure it's working well for both. Next, assuming that there are no technical issues, you need to make sure that your product page is optimized. You should be constantly testing and improving your product page to make sure that you're converting more of your customers. This means having a store that not only looks great, but actually solves the problem of your searches. This ends up building more trust with your customers. Here is another common problem that I see with beginner store owners. They spend all their time trying to optimize their Google Ads account when their actual website and product pages are substandard. A basic page with just a basic image, a small title, and barely any description. Compare that to a product page like this. A product page that is engaging and clearly demonstrates how amazing this product is. This explodes off the page with social proof and clearly walks through the benefits and features of this product. This type of page is called a long-form product page. They convert way higher than just a regular standard basic product page. We see our clients getting conversion rates within the 3 to 10% range when we set this up for them. Imagine increasing your conversion rate from 1 to 3%. You're now converting 3 times as many customers for the same cost because obviously you don't actually have to increase the cost of your Google Ads. You're using the same traffic as before. Doing this properly is like rocket fuel for your e-commerce store and helps you scale like crazy. I have a full video on how to set up these type of product pages. I'll leave a link to that down below. Also, you can have the best product pages in the world, but if your product is low quality, it's going to be hard to convert customers. The common mistakes I see people making are pricing their product way too high without showing the value of the product. Low quality images for a low quality product. If a customer can go over to one of your competitors and see a better quality product page, better quality products, why would they buy from you? They might even be happy to pay more to your competitors just because they know they're getting a better product. Of course, this is all about perceived value. At the same time, don't lie or misrepresent the quality of your products. The next mistake I see people making is trying to sell a product that people don't actually want. Make sure that the features and benefits on your product page are actually what people want. Your customers are going to be unique, and this is where market research comes in. You need to understand your customers so well that when they see the product page, they feel that it's created just for them. It speaks directly to their needs and their wants for this product. This makes their decision to buy so easy, because their perception of the value it provides them far outweighs the cost it takes from their wallet. Improving your conversion rate is a long and consistent process. First, focus on the number of people adding your products to their cart. Then you can focus on how many people complete their checkout without abandoning. Now let's say that you're getting a lot of people adding to cart, but not many are actually going through the checkout. This could be caused by a number of issues. Let's go through them now. Cart not working. This is the most common cause and the easiest to fix for not getting enough checkouts. Check that you can actually order from your store. Go into your store and put through a fake transaction to check that it works. An easy trick to do this is to create a 100% off promo code. Then try to complete the checkout for your store to make sure it's working properly. Maybe you forgot to connect PayPal or check some sort of setting in Shopify. This basic troubleshooting can save you a ton of headaches. Shipping price. The next big thing we see lack of cart completions and checkouts is the shipping price. Honestly, most customers expect free shipping for orders. I honestly believe that if you're not providing free shipping, you're doing your customers a big disservice. We've seen countless clients of ours that have implemented free shipping and the increase in conversion rate outweighed the extra cost in the shipping to them. At the same time, you can increase your prices to cover this cost of shipping. At the end of the day, most customers prefer to have shipping included in the final price. They don't like being hit with an additional price later on when they've already committed to the initial prices of their products. Try free shipping and see how it goes for your store and your conversion rate. Unexpected costs. Other causes of abandoned carts can be unexpected costs. These can be things like taxes or currency conversion fees. Of course, we've already talked about shipping costs, but check to see if your cart's being abandoned because of these other costs. Of course, some things like taxes can't necessarily be avoided. However, just take a look so that you're aware of what could be causing the drop-off. Prices too high. While a customer may be willing to purchase after they've seen your product page, it's not fully locked in until they pull out their credit card and pay. For some customers, having to pull out their credit card suddenly means the pricing feels real. They then realize that the value equation isn't tilted in their favor. Maybe the perceived value of the product is teetering on whether it's worth it or not for that customer. And that extra effort to finish the checkout pushes them away and they don't want to purchase. Consider the pricing and your value proposition compared to competitors. Do this to make sure that your product and your brand is extremely competitive. You want your customers to see your product page and say, heck yes, before purchasing. Checkout not trustworthy. If you're using a different platform, some of these platforms look kind of dodgy. They look like they're just going to take your credit card and send it off to who knows where and sell it on the black market. You need to make sure that your checkout makes customers feel comfortable giving out their personal details and their credit card details. I personally recommend all my clients use Shopify. It's easy to use and it builds trust. If you're using another platform like WooCommerce or something else, I recommend getting a second opinion about the trustworthiness of your checkout. Things to specifically check: spelling or grammatical mistakes. You shouldn't have this anywhere on your store, especially not your checkout. Design inconsistencies like images not loading or inconsistent fonts. Also check for unprofessional color design palettes. These should all be avoided. If you're not aesthetically minded, get a second opinion, someone else to check over your cart and your checkout to make sure it all looks good. Next, device and page size differences. Your checkout should look great on all page sizes and all devices. If you change the page size and your checkout breaks, it really doesn't inspire confidence. Next, check if your traffic sources are majority mobile. Keep in mind that the traffic you're sending through your cart and your checkout is going to have an impact on your conversion rate. For example, say that your ads were just targeting people in the research phase of their buying journey. Maybe one of your customers sees one of your ads while they're on the treadmill at the gym. They love the product, they add it to cart, but they realize they left their wallet in the gym locker. So, of course, they're not able to purchase right now, so they try to remember for later. Of course, people forget, and this is why an abandoned cart email notification system comes in well. If someone doesn't complete their cart, you can still send them an email if they've put in their email address. You can use remarketing ads to remind them to go back and finish their purchase. Klaviyo integrates well with Shopify to allow you to send these automated emails when someone abandons their cart. You can also add abandoned cart users to your remarketing campaigns on Google and Facebook. This way you can send them ads about the products that they left in their cart when they abandoned to get them to come back and actually purchase. You can also even send them SMS reminders as well about those products and get them back to the cart, back to the checkout and purchase. That's it, guys. That's what to do if your Google Shopping campaigns are getting clicks and impressions but aren't getting sales.
Before we get back into the video, I want to share something that could really help you. We've built a private community called the KeyCom Academy. It's specifically designed for honest e-com store owners that are running ads or planning to run ads. If you're looking for clearer guidance, better support, and better strategies, this community is for you. Inside, you'll find step-by-step courses, weekly coaching calls, a supportive community, and one-on-one coaching calls to help you get unstuck. We've seen that when store owners have the right support and the right strategies, things can take off fast. In fact, the majority of our members see a real improvement in their sales and their return on ad spend in the first 30 days. If you're serious about growing your store, check the link below, and I'd love to see you on the inside.
In this video, you're going to learn what to do when your Google Shopping campaigns aren't profitable. If you've spent all this time and energy setting up your Google Shopping campaigns, but they're not making enough profits, this is the video for you. We're going to cover the 3 main areas that ruin profits for your Google Shopping campaign and how to fix them. 1. Problems in your Google Ads account. 2. Problems on your product page. And 3. Issues with your business economics. Let's get into the video. Okay, the first thing we need to do is confirm for you and your store what is profitable and what is not. We have a full tutorial on how to calculate your break-even ROAS and your profitability for your e-commerce store. Go and watch that video, calculate your break-even ROAS, and then come back to this one. I'll leave a link to that video down below. Now that we know what our break-even ROAS is, we need to cap our campaign budgets. We like to set our campaign budgets to $50 or $100 max and keep them there until the campaigns are profitable. This is the first thing that you can do to stop the bleeding. If you're spending more than $50 to $100 per day on your shopping campaign, reduce the budgets down, stop the bleeding. Next thing we want to do is strategically lower our bids. When a campaign isn't profitable, especially at the beginning, we like to focus on manual bidding. We'll do this down to the product level. We'll adjust our bids in our Google Shopping campaign based on how profitable each product is. For example, let's say that we have an average CPC of our product of $1.50. However, it's generating a ROAS below our break-even ROAS. In that case, we'll reduce our bids and watch how it performs. We'll do this until the average ROAS increases above our break-even ROAS point. Of course, this is going to reduce the volume of clicks and therefore the volume of sales for this product. However, this can turn a product that's actually losing money profit-wise into one that is profitable even if it has a lower volume of total sales. Now, this is part of our manual bidding process and we have a full tutorial on how to do this. I'll leave a link to that video down below. The next thing we want to do is make sure that we're adding negative keywords. Adding negative keywords helps tell Google what search queries are not relevant for our products and our store. This is so that we can avoid paying for those clicks in the future because we know that they're not profitable. Over time, as we add more and more negative keywords, our campaigns become more and more profitable. We then have a campaign that spends money only on the most valuable clicks, which means more sales and more profits. We have a full guide on how to add negative keywords for your Google Shopping campaigns. I'll leave a link to that down below. Now, you also want to be improving your product data in your product feed. This is huge. Google doesn't use keywords to find out who to show your products to. Google looks at your product data in your product feed and starts showing it to people it thinks could buy your products. It then watches who views your product, clicks, and then purchases to build up an audience of who to show your product to next. If you haven't optimized the product data in your product feed, you're really hurting yourself. You're not giving Google a nice head start in figuring out what your products are. It's trying to guess and just show to random people, which is going to cost you more money and reduce your profits for your Google Shopping campaign. Do yourself a favor and go through our full guide on optimizing the product data in your product feed for your Google Shopping campaigns. I'll leave a link to that tutorial down below. Lastly, for Google Ads, adding bidding adjustments. This is one of the last things you should do to improve profitability, but it's still worthwhile. Bidding adjustments are where you tell Google to bid differently for different searches based on time of day or location or demographics. It allows you to be much more granular with your bidding. But honestly, you should really focus on the other strategies before you focus on this one. Too many people rush into doing this far too early without having enough data or statistically significant data to make these decisions properly. You should really spend your time and effort focused on the regular bidding and then the product data and product feed optimizations. They're the main things that you should check in your Google Ads account. But even with an extremely optimized Google Ads account, it means nothing if your website doesn't convert. Let's look at that now. The conversion rate of your website makes all the difference. You're already paying for that traffic on Google Shopping. If you can convert more of that traffic without increasing your ad costs, you're going to make more sales and more profits. It's simple math. You should be constantly testing and improving your product pages and your store to convert more and more customers. This means having a store that looks fantastic, builds trust, and actually solves a problem for your customers. Here's a common problem that I see with e-commerce store owners. They spend all their time trying to optimize the Google Ads account when their product page looks like this. A basic page with a low quality image, a title, a basic description, and the price. Compare that to a product page like this. A product page that is engaging and clearly demonstrates how amazing this product is. This explodes off the page with social proof and walks through all the benefits and features of the product. This type of page is called a long-form product page. They convert way more than just a simple product listing page. When we implement these for our clients, we see conversion rates going to 3 to 10%. It's insane. Imagine increasing your conversion rate from 1 to 3%. You're now converting 3 times as many of your customers at the same ad cost. It's going to definitely increase your profits for your e-commerce store. Now, I have a full guide on how to set up these product pages. I'll leave a link to that down below. Lastly, we have your business economics. Yes, you can have an optimized Google Ads account. And yes, you can have an optimized website and product page. However, if you don't have a solid business model, the business economics for your e-commerce store, it's going to be really hard to scale and generate more profits. Let's start with the lack of margins. Your profitability depends on how much you're selling your products for and how much you pay your suppliers and the rest of your expenses. Let's say that you sell your products for $50, but you end up paying $45 to your suppliers and expenses. This means you only have $5 in potential profits available that you need to spend to acquire your customers on Google Ads. That's almost doomed to fail. Let's break down the math. Let's say you have a really good conversion rate of 3%. That means for every 33 clicks, you're going to get a conversion. Well, with only $5 that we can spend to acquire a customer, that means 5 divided by 33 means we can only spend 15 cents per click. And that's just to break even. Now, if you've run any Google Shopping campaigns before, you'll know that 15 cents per click is a pipe dream. This is unless you're in a very unique geographical area with very minimal competition. However, if you increase your average order value to $100 and keep your expenses down to $60, you now have $40 to acquire that customer. With that same conversion rate of 3%, you can now spend up to $1.21 per click, which is much more reasonable than 15 cents per click. So what did we learn here? Try to increase your margins by having higher prices and lower costs. This way you can have more profits available to spend on your marketing and acquiring your customers. Now, how can you decrease your expenses? Well, you can negotiate with suppliers and cut unnecessary expenses. Also systemize and improve your operations with automation. And how can you increase your prices? Now, it's easy to do in practice, but you're going to need to watch this and use the data frequently. Because often when you increase your prices, it has a negative effect on your conversion rate. The key here is to test while also being focused on increasing the perceived value of your product. If you can show that your products are a better experience and better value than your competitors, you're able to charge more. This goes hand in hand with improving your conversion rate. I recommend testing out small changes in your pricing and seeing if the market reacts. Now, I want to say one last thing about this business economics section. For many stores that I've worked with, they haven't been profitable when they're trying to generate profits from the first purchase of each customer. They would get their Google Shopping traffic, generate sales, but break even or maybe even at a loss. But we then focused on getting repeat purchases through remarketing and email campaigns, which means the customer lifetime value for each customer was way above break even. Yes, they lost money on the front end purchase, but they made it back because they were getting these customers back to purchase more products after that initial purchase. These repeat purchases have a marginal add-on cost, but they have significant added revenue. This means we're able to generate higher profits. This is called focusing on customer lifetime value. If you're building a brand and a long-term store, focus on your customer lifetime value, and this is going to make the biggest difference to your profits in the long run. If you know that in the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to make more money from these repeat purchases, you're able to invest more into your Google Shopping campaigns, get more customers now because you know it's going to pay off down the track. And the stores that really win online are those that can spend the most to acquire a customer. Okay guys, so that's how we make our Google Shopping campaigns profitable. Also, if you're already generating over 20K per month in sales for your e-commerce store and you want to scale to 7 figures and beyond, my team and I, we can help. We help e-commerce stores scale with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization. Book a time with my team and I down below and we'll show you how we can do this for your store. In this video, you're going to learn how we fix Google Merchant Center suspensions for misrepresentation. This suspension means that Google doesn't think that your store is trustworthy. This could be due to a variety of reasons. When you set up your Google Merchant Center account to run Google Shopping campaigns, Google analyzes your website and your Merchant Center account with what's called a risk meter. They do this in a way to sort of grade you. If you've been suspended, it's because Google sees your business as too risky. It's likely a multitude of things that culminated in you getting a suspension. When my team and I go and fix Merchant Center suspensions, we'll tell the client, hey, this is what we think is causing your suspension. And they'll often say,
"But Sam, I saw my competitor do this and they're not suspended."
and yes, I agree, but it's because Google uses this risk meter and adds up a multitude of different things, and that's what gives it the risk meter. For example, let's say that you have a fresh store, fresh Google Merchant Center account, fresh domain name, and you're using a non-branded email to set up your account. These things are all going to add up to a higher risk meter rating. One little thing, such as an unbranded email, could push you over to being suspended. Most of the stores that we see suspended and that we fix often have a multitude of things that cause the suspension, not just one. So why does Google suspend stores? Google doesn't want people running Google Shopping ads that are going to deliver a poor customer experience for their users. If they feel this way, they're going to suspend you. If you still can't fix your suspension, my team and I, we actually fix suspensions with a money-back guarantee. I'll leave a link down below where you can apply to work with us, and we'll see if we can fix your suspension. Okay, let's get back to your suspension. Boom, there it is. You have this big red warning in your Google Merchant Center account. You can't run shopping ads until you get this suspension fixed. Most people just give up here, even when it can be fixed. So how do you fix your suspension? First, we need to find out what caused your suspension. Now, there's a big checklist of things you need to check on your store and in your Google Merchant Center account. Once fixed, we then request a review in the Google Merchant Center dashboard. We then wait and we see if we got it approved. If not, we go deeper, we scour everything, we see if we can find the issue, fix it, and then we apply again. So what do you need to go and check and fix? We've got a big list that we're going to go through. You'll find a link to download this checklist below this video. Let's get into it right now. First, your product data and your product feed. Fix any and all product disapprovals, warnings, and errors. You'll see this under the product section under the Needs Attention tab. This should all be clear. Next, we want to fix our business settings. I have a full video showing you how to set up your business settings. I'll leave a link to that video down below. Let's go through the things you need to check. First, make sure that you add all your business information here in the Google Merchant Center Next settings. Make sure this information is accurate and make sure it matches everywhere else on Google platforms and everywhere else on the web. You need to make sure it's consistent with everything else on the web, such as other social media platforms, Google My Business, and any directory websites. Any inconsistencies here are a red flag to Google. This is because they might think that you're lying about your business and your business information. Make sure that your physical address is correct. Make sure that you use a real phone number that people can actually call and hear the name of your business and not your mum. Make sure that you use a company branded email address. Don't use Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, Hotmail. Make sure that your domain name is a real domain. Don't use a My Shopify subdomain. Also make sure that you claim and verify your website in Google Merchant Center. We have a tutorial on exactly how to do this. I'll leave a link to that down below. Make sure that you set your branding colors for your website and your brand, and make sure that you add both logo sizes in there as well. Next, we have our tax settings in Google Merchant Center. Make sure that your tax settings are set up properly for your selling location. This is especially true if you're in the US, as the tax settings can get complicated. We have a full video on how to set up your tax settings in Google Merchant Center Next. I'll leave a link to that tutorial down below. Next, we have our shipping settings in Google Merchant Center. Same as your business information settings, make sure that your shipping settings match what's actually on your website, on your shipping page. If Google spots inconsistencies here, they'll suspend you, which is why you need to go through this meticulously and make sure it exactly matches what's on your shipping page. And it needs to also match what actually happens when someone tries to check out. Now, I have a video on how to set up your shipping settings in Google Merchant Center Next. I'll leave a link to that down below. Okay, that's our Google Merchant Center account. Let's now look at our website. When we fix suspensions for our clients, it's almost always an issue on the website. Now, a lot of the things I'm going to talk about here might not directly cause your suspension. However, we often see that these things add up to increasing your risk meter, which can tip it over to cause a suspension. First, check your website's loading speed. Use the Google Page Speed Insights tool to check how Google grades your website and check multiple pages. I'll leave a link to this tool down below. Also, make sure that there are no broken links across your site. Make sure that there are no spelling or grammatical errors across your site either. Make sure that you have no placeholder text either. Also, make sure that you're using custom imagery. Using direct images that other stores are also using can contribute to the suspension. Google isn't the biggest fan of dropshippers. So if you're selling AliExpress products and there are 10 other stores selling the same product, this could be an issue. Especially if it's the same image, the same description, the same title, everything is exactly copied, this could be an issue. Google likes seeing stores that have reviews, so if you can get these on your store, that's going to be better. Plus, check the apps and plugins on your store. Only use apps that you actually need. We usually check the reviews of the app because sometimes people will get suspended because of an app, they'll find out and they'll leave a comment as a review on that app. Okay, the next one is a big one, your contact information. Google really cares about this because it's a marker of trust. Here's what I recommend you implement if you really want to get your suspension lifted. Yes, it takes work, but it's really worth it because getting Google Shopping campaigns running can generate a lot of sales and a lot of profits for your business. First, add your store's physical address on your website. Also add in a customer service telephone number, one that Google and your customers can call and get a representative for your business. Make sure that you use a branded email address like hello@yourdomainname.com. Don't use a Gmail email address or any other third-party email provider. Then make sure that you add the email address, the phone number, and your physical address on the contact page and the footer of your website. You can also add them to the header of your store, but this is optional. You must have a dedicated contact page on your website. On this page, add a contact form. Also add in your business contact hours and an estimated wait time for them to hear from you. Make sure that this contact information matches all the contact information across all your Google accounts. This means Google Merchant Center.
We'll get back to the video in just a second. Before we do, I wanted to let you know about something that could be really helpful for you. We've built a community of honest e-com store owners called the KeyCom Academy. It's where my team and I help store owners like you get your ads running the right way and start seeing real growth in sales and profits. We're in there every week, answering questions, jumping on live coaching calls, and giving you step-by-step courses on Google Ads, Meta Ads, and everything else e-commerce. It's also a space where other e-commerce store owners are helping each other out, sharing wins, asking questions, and growing together. In fact, the majority of members that join our community see a noticeable increase in their sales and their profits. And that's just within the first 30 days. I'll leave a link down below. Go and check it out, and I'd love to see you on the inside.
Google Ads, Google My Business or Google Business Profile. Lastly, make sure that you have an SSL certificate installed on your website. Also make sure that the language of your store matches the customer base that you're targeting. Now that that's done, let's check out our legal pages. Make sure that you have a terms and conditions page and a privacy policy page for your store. Next, make sure that they're unique to your website. A lot of people just copy these pages from another store and forget to change things out like the brand name. Make sure that these pages match what you sell and what you're about. Make sure that the privacy policy page clearly describes how the user's information is going to be used for the store. Then make sure that links to these pages are added to your footer and your checkout process. Next, let's look at your refunds and returns page. This is huge. Google wants to know what you will do when customers have a problem with the products from your store. If you haven't set up your refunds and returns page, you're going to want to watch my full tutorial on how to do this. I'll leave a link to that down below. Here's what your refunds and returns policy page needs. Clearly indicate the process for requesting a refund or returning an item. Do your customers call you, email you? And how does the refund or return process actually work? Make sure that you clearly outline the processes for different types of refunds and returns. Do you offer exchanges, change of mind, faulty item return or refund? What about damaged products, wrong products? What if the product never arrives? Or what if the customer cancels after ordering? Also include timeframes for each of these circumstances for returns or refunds. Clearly outline the time it takes to receive the refund. Also outline the method of return for the refund. Is it to the same payment method that the customer is paid? Or is it with store credit? Just to be clear. Also make sure what the return period is. For how long after purchasing can a customer return a product? Also make sure that your returns and refunds page is in the language of the target customers. Also, very importantly, link to the refunds and returns policy page on your product pages and in your footer. Next, we have our shipping page. This is the page that tells customers all about our shipping policies. Make sure that this matches what's in your shipping settings in Google Merchant Center. Make sure that it also matches what your actual shipping process is. Outline the cost of shipping for each geographical location that you ship to. This can even be something as simple as US shipping versus international shipping. That's okay. Also outline the time to ship for each geographical location and the postal service used, like UPS, FedEx, or DHL. Make sure it's also clear how the customer can check the status of their order. Do they receive tracking information? Do they have to contact customer support to find out? I also recommend adding a section for missing items. What if a customer receives their order but a product is missing from the order? What happens then? Once that's done, make sure to add a link to your shipping policy page, to your footer, and your product pages. Next, we have our branding and our homepage structure. This is important. Google wants to see that we're a trustworthy and honest brand. Make sure that you have an About Us page that describes the mission and the history of your brand. This is something that gives transparency to your website. Your footer is also important. Make sure to include links to your shipping page, your returns and refunds page, your privacy policy page, and your terms and conditions page. Make sure to also include your contact information in the footer. This includes your email, physical address, and phone number. Next, let's take a look at our product pages. First and foremost, do not make false or misleading claims. I see a lot of store owners coming to us for help with their suspensions when they're making these bold and extravagant claims without any evidence. Google hates this. Make sure that your product information is relevant and up to date. This includes the title, description, and the images. This also includes the availability of your products. Make sure that the product data matches what's on your store, including what's in stock and what's out of stock. This is very important. Make sure that your products aren't dangerous. Google is very wary of health-related products. This is because sometimes if you're making bold claims, you might actually hurt someone with these products. Another thing to watch out for are counterfeit products or trademark infringing products. Also make sure that the condition of your product is accurate and matches what's in your product feed. Also make sure that your product price is accurate and is the same on your checkout, your product feed, and your product page. Next, let's look at the checkout process. Throughout the checkout process, you want to make sure that all your legal page links are visible. I'm talking about a link to your refunds and returns page, your shipping policy page, terms and conditions, and the privacy policy page. Make sure that these are the same pages that we set up before. Don't set up double or duplicate pages. Make sure that your contact information is visible throughout the checkout process. We recommend using all three addresses, your email, your phone number, and your physical address. We recommend all three, but you really just need at least two. Make sure that you have multiple methods of payment and they're all shown in the footer of your store. Also make sure that the shipping costs in the checkout match exactly what's on the shipping page of your store. Next, make sure that any promotions that you're running in your Google Merchant Center account are actually working on your checkout. Also, make sure that the SSL certificate is also working in the checkout. Okay, let's now look at misleading information. Don't claim to be a certified reseller when you're not. Don't use trust stamps on your store without the proper affiliation. And don't make false statements about who you are, your qualifications, or your products. Once we've fixed all these issues, we then do our final checks before requesting a review. Check that your Merchant Center account has a product feed submitted. Google requires that all accounts have a product feed with at least one product before requesting a review. Without the feed, the Request a Review button won't be available. Therefore, if the account gets suspended, don't delete the product feed. Also check to see if there's a second Google Merchant Center account linked to the one we're trying to fix and to see if it's also suspended. If this is the case, you need to go and resolve the suspension on the original account before fixing the additional account. Deleting the account does not fix or erase the suspension. Also, creating a second GMC account with the original account still suspended does not fix the issue. This will just likely lead to another suspension, which is even harder to fix, so just avoid this altogether. We can only have one Google Ads account and one Google Merchant Center account. Creating multiple accounts when you're suspended is considered circumventing policy violations. Okay, once you've fixed these issues, we can now request a review of our account. This is pretty easy. Just head into your Google Merchant Center dashboard. Find the big red bar at the top showing the error and click Request a Review. It takes a few days, sometimes up to a week, to get your account reviewed. If you request a review and get denied, you're going to get put into a cooldown period. Use this time to find the cause of your suspension, fix it, and then request another review. Keep trying, don't give up. You want to be very sure that you fixed all the issues before you request a review again. Too many denied requests can lead to a permanent suspension, which you don't want. Now, if you're still struggling with getting your suspension fixed, my team and I can help. We can fix your suspension for you with a money-back guarantee. We do this for eligible stores. I'll leave a link down below. You can work with us. We'll do it for you, save all the trouble, make all the changes, and go through the whole process. Super easy. Here are my final tips for dealing with your suspension. Don't try to outsmart Google, game the system, or try to get around the suspension by violating Google's policies. You will lose. They will catch you eventually, and you'll get a permanent suspension and you'll never be able to run ads ever again. Do not try to create a new Google Merchant Center account. You will get suspended immediately as soon as you try verifying the URL. This is not Facebook. You can only have one GMC account for each domain name. Don't give up. A lot of people try to fix one little thing on their website, they get rejected, and they give up entirely. Usually, suspensions take multiple attempts to get them fixed. Keep scouring Google's policies, adjusting your website, and requesting a review until you get it fixed. And that's it. Like I said before, if you need help with your Google Merchant Center suspension, my team and I, we can help. We fix suspensions every single month with a money-back guarantee. I'll leave a link down below to our website. Get in touch with us. Let's fix your suspension. Also, if you're already generating 20K per month in sales and you want to scale to 7 figures or more, my team and I, we help with that too. We run Google ads, Facebook ads, and do conversion rate optimization. If you need help with those things, I'll leave a link to our calendar down below. Book a time. We'll talk through how we'll do this for your store. I hope you've received a huge amount of value here from our free Google Shopping course. We're constantly trying to improve the content that we create for you guys, so please give us any feedback, leave a comment down below. Also, if you found this course helpful, please take 30 seconds of your time and leave us a review. I'll leave a link to Google, Clutch, and Trustpilot where we collect our reviews. This really helps us and only takes a few seconds of your time. Really appreciate that. Also, if you'd like to go the extra mile, please submit a video testimonial. I'll leave a link to do that down below as well. And if you guys are already generating 20K per month in sales with your e-commerce store and you want to take it to 7 figures and beyond, book a time with my team and I. We use Google ads, Facebook ads, and conversion rate optimization to scale e-commerce stores every single month. Book a time with the link down below and we'll show you how we'll do this for your e-commerce store. Thanks for watching and bye for now.